and we should be live, unless I screwed this up because we haven't done this in a while. So maybe I forgot how to do all this.
No, we're
um,
good. We're live.
okay, good. If you're in the chat and you can hear us, let me know. Make sure the audio levels are looking good. Let's start talking about the battle scroll, the real battle scroll, and not the one that we posted earlier this week. That one was a lot of fun. That was pretty good. I had fun with that one. Some of the changes came true, like the Breaker boss being Control 5 now. That's a real. That's real. We called that. Um, yeah. So how you guys doing? My name is Paul. Welcome to the Stormkeep. I keep forgetting to do that kind of introduction thing. Today, who do we got? I guess David just left. Yeah, his kid's awake, so he's gonna be in and out. Yeah, sorry,
Nice.
John. Hello, John. How you doing?
Good. I'm John. Corb's on the Discord, and yeah, excited to talk about this. It was a great scroll for us.
Oh, it was amazing scroll.
I can't believe we didn't get nerfed into the ground. Like
It was insane.
we
Yep.
probably deserve it, right? Like it's like the top armies are Beasts of Chaos, who are like in 2 months that problem solves itself, right? So no issues
Yeah.
there. Slaves to Darkness, Flesh Eater Courts, and then like you can argue about who's 4 and 5, but like one of them is definitely Stormcast, and it was pretty much predicted that we would just get nerfed pretty hard. So we dodged it. We keep dodging it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm a bit surprised. Like the Vanguard change is good, expected, but yeah, there
Yeah.
wasn't really much else.
Yeah, we'll see how much it actually matters, right? Like having one unit of Paladors run in charge and it's still very good, and the two double Palador lists still look good as well. Like there's still a 14-inch move
Yeah.
infantry, or sorry, cavalry unit with a ton of health. So
Yes.
I'm gonna show people it doesn't matter.
Jungle Camper in the chat asks if this is a follow up from April 1st. No, this is a real video. This is a real discussion on a real thing. So, okay, all right. We can just jump right into it. We can start talking about the way I have this structured. I didn't have a lot of time today, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. Oh, hey, Mergonk, what's up, dude?
Hey, sorry.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so the way I have this structured is we're going to talk about general rule changes, some bullet points that I found here. There's other rule changes. This isn't a comprehensive list, but these are the ones that I kind of want to have a discussion about. Then we'll talk about the Stormcast specific changes. Then we can talk about Stormcast list building after the Legends rotation and how we feel that's going to go. And then we'll close it out by we'll do like a simultaneous tier list and battle scroll review for every army. Be like, oh, this is, Cities of Sigmar. These are the changes they got. This is where we think they're going to end up in the meta, right? So kind of, hopefully, that'll take less than 3 hours. That's the goal. That's the goal tonight.
Yes.
Okay. So rule changes. The biggest rule change definitely is the pledge to Slanesh being changed. Instead of just a 3d6 charge in your charge phase, it's now a Gavriel kind of effect where you roll 3 dice and you have to drop one. Usually you drop the lowest one, but I don't think it actually has to be the lowest one. You can pick which one you want to discard, so that's kind of neat for reasons, I guess.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's a huge nerf to the only thing Slaves to Darkness is doing, which is either teleport charging you or just getting 3d6 charges in general, having ridiculous threat ranges from turn 1, so they can charge you from one corner of the table to the other, and then they get a double turn, and then they've probably killed everything in your army. That's all Slaves to Darkness is doing right now, and that's been nerfed. So yeah, is it too soon to say that army's just dead? Like, I don't see how they pivot, what they pivot into.
I don't think
No,
they're
they
just
just stay the same.
dead. I think it just isn't like a no brain, right? Like you actually have to like plan out your charges now, right? Because it's like 2d6,
They still have
3d6
the
removing
spell
one.
also.
Yeah,
do
they still
still
have the
have
spell
the
at
spell.
3d6. So like it's just not like, I don't know. The Godsum are going 40 inches and then just shooting out Chosen. Like that's the issue, right? Like that's essentially gone.
Yeah.
Right? You have to actually cast that spell. You actually have to get your opponent has a chance to react, especially with them counter casting.
Yeah,
Wait, hang on. Before I get this wrong, don't they have 3 ways of 3d6? First is demonic speed. Second used to be the Marcus Lanesh. Third was maybe the banner.
no, Banner, I believe gives you +1 attack when you charge. It gives you the pledge, and then it gives you +1 attack.
Okay. So there's no banner that increases your charge?
No, the pledge gives you the 3d6 charge.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, they still have demonic speed, but yeah, that's still a really, really good spell, actually. But at least they can't do it out of reserves. They can't do the Pokeball thing.
Exactly. It's not going to be on the Chosen anymore, which were the really dangerous thing. Like, Knights charging is not a big deal. Like, getting charged by reinforced Chaos Knights from across the table, it's going to kill a screen, and then it stops. And then it usually just dies on the following turn, because you pour everything into taking that unit out. So that's not a big deal. Varangard maybe are going to be the pivot here, like maybe, but they got nerfed at the same time, right? They got 10-point nerf. Be'lakor got nerfed. It's going to be interesting to see what that army does now, because that was all they were doing was the big Chosen block.
I have a local who brought Slaves of Darkness list. I think they had a 1-drop concept and a 2-drop concept. 6 Vanguard, 10 Chosen. I think they brought like either Furies or Chaos Legionnaires, and then 1 Darkwood Fell Rider for tactics. All they lose is like one of those. They drop like the Furies or like the Darkwood Fell Riders, and they keep on chugging as the 2-drop. Or they can just go Be'lakor 1-drop and still keep doing what they were doing, except obviously like the 3d6 is much less reliable. They're not doing with 2 units, maybe 1. And obviously they're 2d6 charging, not like insane. Like they're not charging 18, 15 inches.
That's
charging like
that's the big thing. It's not the reliability of the charge. It was the distance of the charge is what mattered, right? Like because now they're capped at a hard 12. It's not like, oh, sometimes they just roll a 15 on the charge and your whole game, like how do you play around 3d6 charges properly? It's really, really hard. But now it's like, okay, well, they teleport more than 9 inches out. Maybe they'll have a reliable charge, but now I can at least redeploy against it. And if I get a 4 on my redeploy, they just can't charge me anymore.
Right. So that definitely does change things. I think you're gonna see like a minority of like the same old builds as before, trying to just force it through despite the 3d6 charge change. And then you're gonna see what I think is gonna happen largely is they'll keep 1 fight twice block and then move 1 into like just a solid stat block. This could be 20 warriors, 10 knights. Take your pick.
They're gonna have to play more tactically. They're not gonna be the new Iron Jaws basically anymore. Yeah, 20 warriors.
I don't think GW wanted to murder Slaves of Darkness. I think they just wanted to murder the top of 1, where they charge you literally top 1 drop, top of 1, 10 Chosen, 6 Vanguard, all go into you, and like that's pretty much it, right? Like you'll have your bottom 1, probably doesn't matter because everything's double activating, killing at least half your army. So I think
also it's the max health problem. Like we mentioned, it's like 30 health on a 3-up save, especially in their case with a 5-up ward so easily accessible. Like a 5-up ward for them is a matter of a 3-up roll. It's like how do you? It's very difficult to beat.
Yeah, that's a whole.
You get Be'lakor on top of that. So like if they murder 2 out of 3 of your hammers, then your turn they just Be'lakor your 3rd hammer, and then you literally just lose.
Yeah. It's like the perfect game plan.
Is there any world where Slaves players don't bring Be'lakor in a list? I feel like the whole book
he would have to be like
him.
600 points. He would have to like literally be like just like completely pointed out. But like there's like
he would have to be
so
pointed. Yeah, he would. He's right. I think David's nailed it. He's like he would have to be at a point where you cannot take Vanguard with him if you bring him. It's like the army's simply way too elite. It's like it's like you can build those like weird Nagash +4 Morghast lists, but then like you can't take anything else basically. So it would almost have to be that level. Until then, no. I still think they keep taking Be'lakor. I could maybe see a list where like so the thing is like this army doesn't have shooting, right? That's its main problem. And so as a melee army, having something like Be'lakor be the ranged threat in quotation marks so to speak is really important. I don't think this army can ever pivot away from Be'lakor the same way like FEC cannot pivot away from Ashar.
Yeah, Slaves can't really. There's just better armies that do hammer and anvil, right? Be'lakor is kind of the secret spice of Slaves to Darkness. Like he's a battle trait basically. He kind of defines how the army plays because without him, it's like you just get charged and you die. Like you're as durable as Stormcast, except you have no reserves, no teleports, no shooting, no revival. Just a worse version of Stormcast, except for Be'lakor.
I'd be interested to see Archaon becomes more popular, but the thing is, like, Be'lakor for being such the absolute beast of a unit that he is in the game, I cannot believe he isn't at least 500 points. Like, he's lower than Karazai.
Yeah, he's
and we're talking about
he just got nerfed and he's still lower than Karazai.
Yeah, he's 460, and it's like he's a Wizard 2, strike first, defensive ability, ethereal, lockdown one unit across the board. Like, it should at least be 480 or 500, but I don't know. Like, until that happens, like I don't see Archaon ever seeing play. Dark Oath lists require a lot of tech and skill.
Yeah.
He's still the linchpin around which lists are built, I think.
We'll see. I really think this drops them definitely out of like top tier army. I think they're no longer a top tier army. Maybe like an average tier army, like a B tier. Like, this really hurts them because it's not obvious what they're supposed to pivot into.
I think they could.
No, I still think they stay top.
I think they still say 4-1. They could possibly 5-0. I think the tools are there, especially because of Be'lakor. I just think it's not as easy.
We'll see.
It's the 3-up save fight twice that's like busted as hell. Like, that hasn't changed. Like, they can't charge you turn 1 and make insane range charges anymore. But assuming you're playing very traditional standard Warhammer, if this army goes at the bottom of turn 1 and then doubles you, the game is also over. Sure, it's not like 99% over. It might only be 85% over, but it's over.
Maybe the pivot is like, instead of Slaanesh Banner, they go into a more grindy style in the middle of the board. Not the, I'm going to try to double you and then kill you instantly. It's more like, I'm going to kill you over 3 turns instead of 2 turns back to back.
Yeah, sure. I could see that. There's already someone doing that. There's like a player in Springfield. I think his name is Sean Sparkman or something. I could be getting this wrong. But they basically have never ran this like double Pokeball list. They've always run like a very tactical, where like they'll have one fight twice unit, either Chosen or Vanguard, and then they take like a block of warriors, and they play very tactically, and they end games by turn 3, turn 4. But they can they have a better matchup into a lot of like other lists that Tyler like specifically counters Laser Darkness for that reason.
Okay, we'll see. I'm not hopeful, but I'm hoping I'm wrong, because I don't want slaves to be a bad army. I just don't want them to be the fish for double kill you army. Okay. Raise the Baners, I guess that's what I wrote here, is now a 4+ to return an extra knight. This is the Flesh Eater Court's ability from the sub-faction that let them return an extra model every time they returned a model. This offered a ton of resurrection on Morbeg Knights, and that was the list, right? It was Usharan, as many Morbeg Knights as you can cram into a list, a Cardinal to generate points, and then like really the rest didn't matter because you just bring more Knights. They were the best unit in the army. So they took a big hit. Raise the Banners took a hit. And somehow I don't think it's enough. I think Flesh Eater Courts is still going to do exactly what it did before, but with 3 less Knights.
It's essentially what it's going to do. I mean, I think I've seen some lists like they just drop 3 Knights, or even or just run 2x6 Knights, and then you just slot in Horrors. Like, Horrors hit decently. They're just thick. But you're still going to get your Knights, and you're still going to get your Ursharon dominating everything. I mean, the biggest thing too is the Knights didn't take their retreat hit either, so they can still retreat and charge every turn.
Yeah, exactly. Tactically, the army plays the same. It has you unreinforce 1 unit, and that's it. Everything else is the same.
I don't even think they do that. I think they just drop like a screen, because that list used to be like 3x6 or 2x6 Morgvet Knights and like a bunch of flares and ghouls and crypt guard and whatnot. I think you drop one of those and you keep chugging. Like, sure, your recursion's worse, your like model recursion's worse, and that means armies have a fairer time fighting into you, but it doesn't change any of your game plan. You're still as lethal. You can still just pull back and then start recovering models with the Courtier, like the Vargul for the Mariscal Herald, and then you can still return half units, because Sharon goes to like 6 noble days really fast.
Yeah.
So I don't think it changes them. It drops they stay in S, but now it's, instead of like a high S, they're like a low S. I think this will maybe cause like a 4%, 5% shift in their win rate.
Maybe like an A+ now, because I think they're going to struggle against shooting armies a lot, and shooting looks good after this battle scroll. Shooting looks very good.
I don't see them dropping below 55. I think the worst,
they're
the
65.
worst is 55.
Yeah. I see them at 58. Like, they're 65 right now, like 58 at worst.
What would have to change to balance them then? Let's say 58% is overpowered, I guess, technically. What would have to change? I think it's maybe Usharan's fight last thing. Maybe that's just too good.
No, it's the Noble Deeds.
It's
the Noble Deed generation. Heroic action is way too good. It's like there should be like a max to what it's allowed to generate in a turn or something. The problem is they can just speed run that. Like if they have like a cardinal and even an arch regent, it doesn't even matter if it's a Shuran. They can get to 6 points on 2 heroes really fast. I think that's mainly what's causing problems. Like their noble degeneration makes Asharon way too. First of all, Asharon is what is he like? Some crazy like 440 or something?
He just took a nerf. He is now 460.
No, yeah. This guy should be 600, and he'll still be taken.
Yeah, cheap.
Like, I think that Knights just got like us, like just slap on the wrist. Like 20 was like you can't have 20-point nerfs in that army. They lose an unreinforced unit of guys, right? Like that they had to be way higher.
Yeah.
Hit. And if we're trying to
compare someone like Lasharon to like Krondis, dude. Like, come on. How is he 460?
I will push back a little bit here. I don't know how. I think we're going to go into a shooting meta, and that's what this next change is about. That's why I have it on the slide. The thing that was really just holding back bringing as many guns as possible was obscuring terrain. And in particular, for Stormcast with shoot and combat, that was like a huge problem, right? It was like, oh, I don't know, maybe Javelin Paladors aren't the best unit in the game because obscuring terrain exists. But like now, we can still shoot after we charge, so cool. So there's what's stopping us from spamming shooting? Nothing. And what is Flesh Eaters very bad against? Shooting. So I think...
Are they bad against shooting, though? Do you think so?
I do, yeah, because a lot of their strategy relies on the Usharon strike last thing, him getting a bunch of attacks off, and then the retreat and charge. It's like the retreat and charge and the reload is how Flesh Eaters win the game. That's what I've seen anyway. It's like their first hit isn't it's not like they're crashing over you like slaves. They hit you, they retreat, they hit you again, you kill them, then they come back, and that final wave is usually what wins the game for them.
I don't know if shooting is as effective as you think they are, because a smart FEC player always finds a way to stack +2 to save with delusions. They have a Shuran with that +1 save delusion. They always keep him parked at the corner of an objective somewhere. So he's effectively on a 3-up, potentially 2-up if you target him. And same goes for Morbid Knights, who for some bizarre reason are on a 4-up save. Like, I don't know how, for that points value. But that effectively makes a block of 6 with all-out defense a 2-up save against a smart FEC player.
Yeah, but only one unit can defense, right? I'm talking about shooting spam, where like, okay, this is the unit that defense, I'll just shoot the other ones now.
I don't know if they have the efficiency to get past 24 wound blocks. I think the Morbid Knights will catch up to them and kill them.
So like
and +1 attack is an insane buff and an 18-inch aura. I mean, we need a 12 on a prayer to do it. That guy just does it, basically.
So like my list against old pre-nerf effect, right, was nothing but like you see my list: double Halidor, double Cascadator, like a list that's like built essentially to kill Feck with the anti-cav and priority target and all that, right? I pretty much killed Feck by doubling them because they literally couldn't regenerate fast enough. And if I don't get that double, I have to murder Urshron essentially turn 1 somehow. Either shooting or the Paladors make a go 20 and then charge and shoot and all that. Them getting the +1 save on multiple units on objectives is just really disgusting because you cannot not play objectives, right? Like you have to go to the objective at some point, and they'll just sit there on +1 or +2, and it's just so much wounds.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I think this was enough for Flesh Eaters because I don't want them to be a bad army because they were before they got buffed, they were one of the worst, right? So I'm happy about the change, but
I think they just need to lose like maybe 100 more points or 120 more points. Like maybe like you lose the reinforced unit of Knights. I think
Usharon needs to keep going up. If he's going to be the only thing that brings delusions, he needs to be more expensive.
Yeah. At least 500 for him, if not more.
Yeah, Urshron just has a
and you would still take him, by the way. If he went up to 600 tomorrow, all FEC players would still play him. So that speaks to how good he is.
I look at him and his rules and how important he is for the army, and I see like a 560 to 600 point model. And like him going at 460 is like crazy to me. That's like you're just getting a free unit when you bring him. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Break of Bosses, Control 5, like we predicted. Right, obviously, we're in cahoots with Games Workshop. We're just bringing you guys all the details ahead of time. The last one from the general rule changes that I want to talk about is that Storm Fiends are now once per turn army. Have you guys started seeing the Storm Fiend spam lists that were popping up? They were not very good, but it was very, very annoying to play against them. To have an entire army pop up in your turn out of reserve was very obnoxious. So very glad they nipped this in the bud, because I was worried it was getting more popular.
Especially if it was at the bottom, if they knew, like if you took the top of the turn, especially it was the most annoying thing ever, because they would deep strike, they would covering fire, and then you knew they were getting next turn, so they would move up and shoot. And it's like, ugh.
And then they could potentially double, and then
do it again.
It's not like Storm Fiends are fragile, but I mean, they're not long strikes, right? They're a big chunk of health too, so you have to dedicate a lot of resources to getting rid of them. Yeah, that was not fun. So, does Skaven need to be nerfed right now? Maybe.
I think the ceiling has to come down. I think the floor has to go up, because there's like this. It's like a city. Skaven have like a city's problem right now. You have like a handful of people who could 5-0 with Skaven. Like, they just know the army. They're really good players. And then you just have all these other players who are like got Skaven tied, who just might not know how to play Skaven that well, and then they're going like 1-4. So like the 1-4 is canceling out with the 5-0s, and that's why like they're at that low win rate. It's like Tzeentch. Tzeentch problem too.
It's crazy. Stormcast was that army for every edition before this one, but now it actually seems like there's a lot of really good Stormcast players, and the newbies are doing well with it as well. Like not well, like they're going 5-0 or anything, but like they're not going 0-5 like we used to see. Oh, I just bought Dominion, and here's my, Andrasta and Shield Annihilator list. It's like, oh, what were you doing?
I think what enticed people towards Stormcast, the same reason people picked up slaves. People saw slaves, the armor, like the all armor president slaves, everything that has a 3-up save. And I think finally that happened for Stormcast this edition, because we had this weird mix of 4-up saves and 3-up saves. So our units, despite being in plate armor, were never that tough. And now people know, or at least even newer and more experienced players can leverage a 3-up defense really well. And we're seeing the results of that. With Skaven, it's weirdly enough, it plays like we used to back in the day. It has to play this extremely tactical, moving game. It has to sacrifice key units. It shoots. It has maybe some melee that it can use. I really like the fact that their list building got unlocked. Like, a lot of their lists were just like weirdly restrictive and ended up being 2 or 3 drops. But but I like the buffs for them. What's really annoying though is those Warp Lightning cannons. I would want to say they're like 110 now, and you're gonna see like you're gonna see like 3 to 4 of them. That's gonna be annoying as hell. Just all these mortal wounds just coming at you.
Yeah, it's been a while since I looked at it, but they have anti-spam built into it now, right? It's not like in previous editions where it was like you could just bring as many and they were almost as efficient as the first one. Now it's like the first one's really good, and then everyone after that's not so good, right?
Like it's the once per turn army for the more power, whatever.
Which is good. I mean, you have a huge model range. You should encourage people to bring multiple things instead of spamming the same thing. Like, imagine if Stormcast didn't have a limit on Ruination Chamber stuff. Like, if we could just give every unit, like, that's all we'd play is we'd spam Reclusians.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, but instead we're spamming Questers. That's the new hype. Okay.
Is
that on purpose?
I can't believe they're 200.
I can't. Yeah, I thought like no, that can't be right.
Compare Questers.
Like someone's trolling.
Compare Questers to Blight Kings. Okay, Questers are 6 models, 18 health, 3-up save, max 38 damage for 200 points. Blight Kings are 15 health, 5 models, max 21 damage. Like, Questers do almost double the damage of Blight Kings. I guess Blight Kings have a 5-up board all the time, but like, damn, that is for the same cost. Okay, sure. Questers are good.
They have to move. Good. Are they trying to move product? I think.
Yeah.
It's like, when Flame Seekers became really good for like a hot second for Fire Slayers.
It
feels like that.
That actually could be true, because it sounds like they're sunsetting Warcry, right? Like they're not. So maybe they're just trying to get rid of all the boxes.
Yeah, and like every one of these bands has had their sort of like moment. Like Asturgon True Blades were really hot in 3rd edition for a little bit, where like you just ran a bunch of 3-up strike blast units. I want to say Royal Beast Flayers were like that for Flesh Eater Courts for a hot minute.
Oh yeah, Beast Flayers were the best unit in Flesh Eater's 3rd edition.
Yeah, it was the best surf, or the best like unit, non-hero unit to take.
Yes,
I feel like that's happening, and they're trying to like move boxes out there. I'm not gonna go out and buy 6 of them. I'm just gonna run. I have 3. I'm happy, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so Stormcast changes. We are the Stormkeep after all. We should talk about the army that we all play, right? First up, Ionis has Ruination Chamber ability. It took
Amazing.
Finally, like, oh my god.
took way too long, but he finally has it, and he can also be used in the Ruination Brotherhood because Aridin gains War Master, which makes sense. If you are the named signature hero in your signature Army of Renown, you should gain War Master. This should just be the case going forward for every single one. This issue keeps happening, right? Vanguard Chamber got nerfed, and this is the nerf we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see Vanguard Chamber become a once per turn hero phase buff that you put on your units, and that way you don't spam Vanguard anymore. Because it was the one chamber out of every other Stormcast chamber, it was the one chamber that encouraged bringing as much of it as possible with no downside whatsoever. You know, Ruination had anti-spam mechanics built in, Extremis had anti-spam, Sacrosanct had anti-spam, but this is the one where it's like, no, just bring more. Like, there's no downside to bringing more Paladors. Just do it. And now there kind of is. But it's not enough, right?
I just
Yeah,
so
not
my
with like power through and like, you know, being able to teleport as well in a lot of our armies. Like, I don't know if it'll do enough. And no one's taking more than 2. Like 3 is really extreme.
Yeah.
Points wise.
I feel like the problem with the old Vanguard Chamber is just that it rewarded you have sloppy positioning and sloppy mechanics, because you always could just bail yourself out with like, retreating or running, right? Like
Yeah.
I just felt like it really encouraged just really sloppy gameplay. So I think the new change encourages you to actually have to think about your positioning.
Yeah, you nailed it. It's not that 12 Paladors is necessarily broken. It's just that you can never tie it down, because if one doesn't power through, they can both retreat and just charge again next turn. And you want to limit that to 1. I would actually like to see that on more big knights. Now that we talk.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like it just rewarded bad tactics. That was the biggest issue with it. It just rewarded really bad tactics.
Multiple units, very fast, sometimes flying units that can retreat and charge is, I think that just might be inherently a problem in this game. Like Night Haunt was overpowered because their whole army could retreat and charge. Stormcast was obviously, objectively, just from what we've seen, has been overpowered because we had effectively army-wide retreat and charge. And I think Flesh Eater Courts are overpowered because they have the army-wide retreat and charge. So this just seems to be a recurring thing, that retreat and charge is the new 6-inch pylon, perhaps? It was always good, right? Retreat and charge was always good, but now it just seems better than ever. Zephyros can still do it. There's no limit. If you bring the Zephyros, she can always... Because they didn't bother...
That one.
Yes, well, she's not in the Battle Tome. She's in the Faction Pack. So they forgot to add her, but that's the way it's written. It must be intended, right? If you use Knight Zephyros. Yep. Go ahead.
I think also with the Paladors, like, they're still, like, one of the things that makes them so great is their 14-inch move, right? It's like, that's not going anywhere. They're just still so good. Like, I don't think people are going to have much trouble reaching out with them still. And yeah, even if you take 2 and for the odd times that you're only going to be able to retreat out 1, you're still going to be able to then shoot and charge back in and get your shooting on the charges, and it's still going to be great. So yeah. I don't really think it's going to change all that much, but it will. I think it will limit the amount of people maybe taking the double lists. I think people might start just leaning into taking 1.
I think the good change about it is that it stops the Stormcast version of the 1-drop, where it was like Krondi, like double Palador, long strikes, and like Ether Wings, right? Because the whole idea was that because everything was Vanguard, you could potentially 20-inch one unit, D6 plus 14 another unit. You would move up Krondi, and then you would just essentially just get on the other side of your opponent's board, on top of 1 or bottom 1 or whatever you needed to do. I think that's probably why the biggest thing you need to change is just because you can't hit somebody now top of 1 with it, because only one unit's going to go 20, and one unit has to go 14 at max.
Yeah.
Another interesting implication is that we can no longer covering fire after redeploy. This ability has to be used in your hero phase. You can't use either of those abilities in your hero phase, so that's dead. There's still some units in the game that can redeploy and covering fire, but Stormcast don't seem to have it, except for the Knight Zephyros. That's her niche. That's what she's going to be doing. Yeah, and then we also have regiment changes for Celestin on Stardrake, Tornus, and Ionis. All 3 of these can now take any Stormcast, which Sorry, not
I love
Ionis.
this.
Iridan. It's supposed to be Iridan there. That's a typo. My bad. But yeah, it's a great change for the Star Drake, and I'm gonna say it's a great change for Iridan. It doesn't matter for Tornus yet. Right now, Tornus just is a 30-point squeeze over Estrella, who is a wizard, which is definitely worth the 30 points. Like, that's not where you want to find your squeeze. I think I tried building some Tornus lists, and it's like, without anything to use Rally on, he is just a bad stat block. Like, really bad stats, bad damage, bad health, bad move. Like, I guess he's fast, but like, he just doesn't really do anything unless you have Reclusians or Prosecutors to rally. And once you start bringing a lot of those, it's like, well, do you even need Tornus? Like, wouldn't you rather have a Terminos or a Vigilant on Griffstalker to double tap them? And I guess the case is like, you want to bring 12 Reclusians and you want to splash in some Paladors. That would probably be the list with Tornus. And that's like, is that list good? I don't think so. I don't think bringing that much Reclusian is good. Because, like we were talking about, it's an anti-spam mechanic. The more Ruination you bring, the weaker it gets. Each unit is weaker than the previous one that you bring to your army. So the first one is big value, right? You get the 5-up ward, you get the Ruination Chamber on them every turn. Second one, okay, well now you're sharing the ward across it. Third one is like, what are you doing? Just bring Questers instead, you know? But on Iridan, it's a little more interesting. She's just too expensive. That's just the issue, right? Still too expensive. Drop her down to like 240, and that suddenly looks like an interesting like monster priest that can bring any unit. She's basically Estrella at that point. She's a priest Estrella, and I'd be down with that. But at 290, it's just too much. So she's still not good enough.
I mean, I can't believe she's only 12 wounds. Like, at least.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
Come on,
like,
250. 250 at least. Like, come on. Like, this is not a 14 wound monster, flying monster.
It should be. It should be a 14 health flying monster, but it's
pretty
not.
big.
I mean, for what it is, it should be like 250.
Yeah.
Like, not 290. I think 290 is a little too steep. And again, she's only really playable in her own Generation Brotherhood. Just because of the way, their rules get supplemented in that army every now and in a normal book, they just don't have much to do. Like, even prayer-wise, the prayers in Ruination Brotherhood are just more made towards that kind of play.
They're okay, yeah. What could probably make Iridan playable instantly, just errata Priest 2. Instead of Priest 1, make it Priest 2. That would instantly, at that point value, this is now a viable unit. So, not a great unit.
They can't do that, though, can they? Because it's like, they have better damage than Ionis, straight up.
No. Ionis is actually decent.
Yeah,
Iridan is irredeemable.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right.
It's bad damage. It's like 12 on the mount. I think like 43 on the rider. It's not good. Rend 1 on the rider too. Not great. So let's on Star Drake though. That is a very, very interesting change. Because we already like the Star Drake here. It's an underrated model that doesn't get enough play, but it just gobbles up cavalry and chosen and infantry and 4-up ethereal ghosts and anything with a 5-up board. It just chomps on them all day long. Huge health, huge body, so it can just physically block a lot of space, takes healing well, takes defensive buffs well, does okay damage, like comparable damage to Karazai in melee. Probably a little bit worse, but it's not like Karazai is a big beat stick either.
It's a little bit less, but if you eat a couple models, it's basically equivalent.
Exactly. Yeah, if you're eating dudes, Star Drake is very good. And now the Star Drake can bring Vanguard, it can bring Ruination for a short time, it can bring Sacrosanct. That is very, very good.
Yeah, I had been complaining to a friend about this particular situation and just like how the Star Drake is such a good war scroll, but would just see a lot more play if he could bring everything, because he's difficult to put in a regiment or work with all the other things we want to bring. So this change just opened up so many list concepts that I had been looking at. I got really excited about it.
Is your friend a designer at Games Workshop? Maybe John Tulip, perhaps?
Maybe.
Can I just tell you guys my conspiracy theory here? So y'all know how they removed the Vampire Lord on Zombie Dragon, and now we just have War Drive if you want to get it. Remember that rumor we used to hear about there being a Gardas on Stardrake?
Yeah.
Mhm.
What if Gardas on Stardrake is, unlocks all regiments, and we potentially see him replace the Lord Celestia on Stardrake as the only sort of hero on Stardrake?
Maybe. I think it would be a
Makes
shame.
sense.
It would be a shame to kill off the Drakesworn Templar. It's a really cool concept to have like a knight riding a monster.
I agree. I'm just saying, like, if Fatcast is on its way out,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like, I was like, it seemed like a really weird change that they would do this, considering, like, I mean, I get that they're trying to give a nod to the Extremist Chamber, but, like, and the Stardrake is probably the most playable, in my opinion, Extremist Chamber model behind Concussors, but, like,
Yeah.
it seemed really weird. It's like, why make this a War Master level regiment unlocker?
I think it's here's my theory on this. Most of the big centerpiece models are just awful for list building in this game because of the way regiments shake out. If you want to bring a big, like, you can't really do like the double cabbage that you used to do with Iron Jaws, right? Or like you can't really do a list in Stormcast that's like 4 big dragons. Like, it's just the drop system doesn't work with these huge centerpiece models unless they can take every single unit in the army, right? Most of the success we see with these big centerpiece models is when their regiment is also good. It's pretty rare to see a centerpiece model that can't take anything and succeed well in the game, right? It just doesn't work.
That is actually, you're right. Yeah, I quickly like did a sort through my head, and I'm like, I cannot think of any like big centerpiece models that don't let you take mostly everything or everything. Otherwise they wouldn't work.
There were some exceptions, and before this Battlescroll, I was even thinking about this. I'm like, it's weird that Bloodthirsters can't take mortals, right? That was weird. Yeah. It's weird that the Saurus Old Blood can't take skinks at all. Can't take Stegodon. Like, I could take Stegodons, but I think you could take one. It's like, why can't it just take any Seraphon? It's weird. Like, these big centerpiece units, just they sucked. And if you look through the Battlescroll, which we will, every single one of these large, well, not every, but a lot of these large centerpiece models can now just take any unit. Iridan falls into that category. Stardrake, Old Blood on Carnosaur, Bloodthirsters can now take any mortals.
There's a bunch. Avalonor can now take Venari and Stoneguard.
Yes, and it was like,
yeah.
So it feels like they're kind of degrading the regiment system this way, right? There's no lore reason why a Lord Celestin on Stardrake should be able to bring Vanguard or Ruination or Sacrosanct. That doesn't make any sense. And the whole point of the system was to tie it deeper to the lore, right? To make it more narrative focused. So
that doesn't mean us, though. It doesn't mean anyone else.
Really. Yeah, really just affects us and Lumineth, and I guess not. Yeah, it might be the first admission, not overt, but it might be like, yeah, maybe this system sucks. You know, maybe we just missed the mark. Yeah, that's my theory. I don't know if it's true, but maybe that's because I hate the regiment system and I want to go back to 3rd edition list building, or even 2nd edition. I'd take 2nd edition list building over this right now. Those battalions and the point costs and all that nonsense.
I'm just saying,
bro. I would take 3rd. I don't like.
I'll just go. Yeah. Like, we might as well just play 3rd edition, right? Like if I'm just playing 3rd edition Battle Regiment, you should have just polished 3rd at this point.
Yeah, I would say I would like 3rd regiment, 3rd list building the best, but like just delete Battle Regiment and we're good. Like, it's perfect.
Yeah, 3rd wasn't even that good, right? Like, we had our issues with it, we had our criticisms, we thought of lots of ways to improve it. And it seems like instead of improving it, they like stripped it back and then just didn't add anything new. But we'll see. We'll see what the General's Handbook adds, because it sounds like they're ripping out the whole advanced modules, right? All the rules, like regiments, manifestations, all those are just coming out and they're putting in new ones. So we'll see what happens in the summer. Okay, point changes for Stormcast. Like we did the last time, I sorted these into good, not enough, never enough, and then we'll talk about the nerfs. The good tier, Celestin Prime going down is good, right? 290 points. I think I called 270 the point value that Celestin Prime should be at, so he's almost there. He's like so close to being perfect. But 290 is very reasonable for Celestin Prime. He is just a good cavalry type hammer, right?
I like it. Would have liked to see Andrasta and him at the exact same points, because they're functionally the same in a way. But Andrasta, I don't know why I keep it cut.
I think Andrasta's worse, but I think she pays extra for that 3d6 charge.
Yeah, she's paying the sin of having 3d6 charge. That's about it.
Yeah, but she's not a reinforced cavalry unit. You can't reinforce Andrasta, so like I don't think that should count against her. But
I mean, it shouldn't, but I think that's like how they're thinking is like they want to stop that like feel bad moments.
Yeah. Vigilant on Gristalker going down is, I put that in the good tier. I don't think he's really going to see a lot of play because prosecutors just got more expensive. Reinforced prosecutors plus 20, this guy minus 20. So if you were doing that combo, nothing changed. But yeah, it's not like people are double tapping Reclusians or anything with him. It's been prosecutors the whole time, right?
you can, man. You remember what's his name? Dylan from who was briefly with us.
Yes.
From St. Louis, right? He's been running Ruination Brotherhood exclusively, and he runs 2x6 Reclusians, and he runs 1 Lord Vigilant on Gristalker.
Yeah, nice.
It's actually quite potent. He doesn't run Reinforced Prosecutors. He just runs 2 3s as like tactic setters or like, Snipe Sider Hero or something with them. But Reclusians are still like with the 5-up ward, with the 3-up ignore, with like an all-out defense. They can tank enough, and like he just declares, "Yeah, I'm just gonna fight twice with Reclusians," and it's pretty dangerous.
My concern is the fight last, and because I've seen firsthand 4 Chosen kill a whole squad of 6 Reclusians, and it wasn't even like a crazy high roll or anything. Like 18 health with a 5-up ward sounds really durable, but it just isn't enough, for 280.
I did take him with 6 prosecutors to a tournament.
It's fun. It's super fun.
And it was super fun.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And this is with prosecutors, and I found I was usually able to position them in a way that their fight last allowed them to get into combat with what I wanted to fight second, or not get hurt enough that it mattered if I was fighting the same unit again. Obviously, I had them with the 5-up ward as well. Yeah, I didn't find that to be too much of an issue. And prosecutors are way easier to kill. But it didn't seem super impactful. I'm glad the points went down for it because it's like you said, Paul, it is really fun. But now that the points went up on prosecutors, it really kind of just doesn't mean much.
Yeah. Well, the difference between prosecutors double tapping and Reclusians double tapping is that prosecutors fly and they have a 2-inch cohesion. So you can do really, really interesting stuff where you'll like jump over a wall and then keep the 2-inch cohesion and like string out and tie different things in combat. There's a lot of interesting things you can do, and that Reclusians just can't. Like, it's straight up just a damage multiplier on Reclusians, but you have to survive that hit coming back, which is the hard part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's good. I'm glad he went down in points. I think he should be like, he's 160. I think 150 for him, 140 for the Terminos sounds right. I think both of them should just drop a little bit more. Okay, Shield Annihilator is down 10 points, and oh boy, do I hate that.
The lowest they've ever been.
This
is the lowest they've ever been.
I hate how much I love it, because I've started thinking of lists that have 2x6 Annihilators and a Taurolon and a Bodyguard on the Taurolon. And so yeah, you charge in, you have a 97% chance of getting hit with Strike Last against 2 units of Annihilators who are going to be on 2s and 3s because you'll have Thunderhead Host, and you're going to eat a covering fire on the way in. And then once you finally hit them, they'll be -1 hit from Shock and Awe. You'll be -1 to wound from Thundershock. They'll be -1 attack from Bodyguard. +1 attack from Blessed Weapons. Like, the bonus is just, the things you can do with Shield Annihilators are just wacky. And now that they're the same cost as Reclusians, like, let's get nuts. Let's get these things nerfed, right? 2-up save is better than a 5-up ward and a 3-up save against almost every damage profile. Yeah. This is silly.
Yeah, I've debated like assuming like, okay, obviously Reclusians are better, but like even like a Lord Celestin standing behind a unit of Annihilators, 6 Shield Annihilators, is going to put out respectable damage. And it's like, you can wait to see if you want to pop Quicksilver Drought or not. You can just give them Strike Last.
Yeah,
you don't have to pop it immediately.
I've considered a list with Celestin, 6 shields, 6 Grand Hammers.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Strike Last. Cool. I don't have to use my draft this turn.
Yeah, I failed Strike Last. Cool. I'll use my QSD and hit you with Grand Hammers.
I'm worried. I'm worried about the Shield Annihilator points. I think they're like, this is the right value, but I don't think the game's gonna like fighting 2-up saves, spammable 2-up saves very much.
And people have them too, because at the
Yeah,
end of
because
third,
people were running the
there was
spam list last
a
edition.
lot
Yeah.
of that going on. So it's around.
I only
It's
got
around.
6. I will say that. Like, I don't know. I got the 6 from Dominion, and that was it. Like, for me.
I think what's holding them back. Okay, let me see if I can justify something that's holding them back. I think there's two things that potentially holding them back. I think things like ogres and gargants are holding them back potentially because they just have these like extremely Timmy, pulverizing strike, mortal wound type abilities. Sorry, my cat's going crazy, but and I think like those can really hurt them. B, I think there's still quite a lot of infantry in this game on -2 rent, and it's like, yeah, if you are on defense, you'll still be on a 3-up save, but like if you're having to take 20 saves with like Varangard or like 15, 16 saves, and 7 of those are fails or 5 of those are fails, each of those is 3 damage, and that kills an Annihilator each. So mathematically, it still doesn't survive those like high attack, 3 damage or 2 damage cavalry attacks.
But what if I told you there was the Toralon gives you +1 cast, and Stormcast have a wizard that casts at +1, so you're summoning a bridge during the enemy turn at +1 overall, and you just don't fight those things.
I'm looking at a future past June, Paul. So it's like we're gonna lose the Toralon in less than 60
days. Doesn't Toralon have to charge to get that?
No, it has to be charged. It has to be in combat.
No, it just has to be in combat. That's it. That's the only stipulation.
I played with it once. It was kind of fun, but he died quickly.
I mean, he's gonna be kind of annoying, but he is going away. And like, how many people have the Toralon? I think it's you, me, and like 4 other people. I think.
Well, didn't we do a painting Toralon contest? There's a lot.
Did we?
There are dozens of us. Okay.
Is there like any thought to like MSU with the Annihilators, the Shield Annihilators also? Because they still get their ability, right? Like, whether they're reinforced or not. And then it forces people to be splitting attacks, or they're just killing 9 wounds every turn. Like, that's interesting.
I thought about it, but the regiment situation is an issue. You run out of slots very quickly if you start filling in 3 Annihilators for 140 points. You have to start bringing more heroes, which you really don't want to do with Stormcast, especially if you're bringing a Toralon, which is already 280 points. That's like the cost of reinforced Shield Annihilators. You also want to drop them in from reserve.
I think we just go full auxiliary.
The other issue...
you just get away the buff.
Okay, there's still another issue, and that is that only half of your army can go in reserve, right? So if you bring 4 units of Shield Annihilators, you need 4 on the table, which, okay, that's doable. But you also want to put your shooting in reserve, and sometimes you have other units you want to put in reserve. Or some, like, I thought about bringing 8 units, and then it's like, I don't have 8 units on the table to do this.
Yeah.
You know?
And it messes up your regiments, because remember, like, you can only take 4 in your generals, 3 in your non-general regiment. Like, list building is not ideal for that kind of spam anymore.
All-out defense value is also there. Like, a single block with all-out defense is just going to live through everything.
Also, what was killing people wasn't like the spam, just the spam. You have to remember, they used to do mortal wounds on the charge.
Yes.
And they had a 9-inch or a 7-inch rerollable charge the turn they dropped it. Now, if you fail your charge, you can't just reroll it for free. You know, that mechanic's gone. Their mortal wound doing mechanic while they charged you and pinned you in your zone is gone. So you'll probably have some of them drop. They'll do some mortal wounds, and that's it. They just stand there.
Yeah. I mean, they can do some damage. They're not horrible.
Not horrible, but it's just like the main thing was I can mortal wound everything off the table, and I can reroll charges into you and get at least out of my 10 units, get 4 of them in, and then you have a tough time. And if any of them survive and I get the double, I get to charge you again and do more mortal wounds to you. Yeah. So it's just like that snowballs really, really fast, and I think that's completely gone. So
yeah,
the way I look at Shield Annihilators now is that they are a 80-point upgrade over Questers. Same damage profile, but you get a 2+ save instead of that, and sometimes you do mortal wounds. That's the way I'm looking at Shield Annihilators right now.
Yeah.
I do like that. I think they're at the playable point at this point. At 140.
They're a B tier. I think they're B tier.
I think that was like a big issue, right? Because they released it so high up, and I think they got released high because of the third edition stuff at the end. But it's nice to see like these models like getting onto the field a little bit earlier, not the end of an edition.
Right now, I'm really hot on using Castigators. So for the next 2 months that I'm going to try this like Castigator Annihilator Toralon list. And I think it's going to have issues with speed, and I'm trying to work those out, but we'll see. off from Shield Annihilators, though. We finally got a buff to Grand Hammer Annihilators, 190 points. This is the right point value for them. They're an elite unit that... So, fun fact, 3 Annihilators, the Grand Hammers, do more damage than 6 Stormstrike Palladors for double the cost. They do a lot of damage, and when you only bring 3, like you put it in as a tech piece in your list, you have the chance of applying Strike Last. And the way you can structure your charges is you can say, well, if I get this Strike Last charge off, like if I get the 8+, then I'll charge in more units, right? Because you don't have to dedicate anything until you see whether or not you get that 8. So there's utility there. And the high damage output is very, very good, because I'm running lists, looking at running lists with like 4 units of Questers, because they're just so damn efficient. You get so, like, we can talk about them too right now.
Yeah, it's wild.
200 points,
playing them a lot.
18 health, 38 max damage, 6 models, built-in teleport. Sometimes you get a 5-up ward. I don't even, like, if you get the ward, cool. If you don't, they're still just a great unit. They're so
Having
efficient.
them with the Celestin is amazing. People are so afraid of that.
Really? For the Quicksilver draft?
Yeah, because he makes them fight, and they do a ton of damage. Like, they're dangerous.
Yeah, I guess, because when they fight with the Celestin, they get the +1 to wound.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thought is always
3s and 2s.
2s, because you can Thunderhead.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you do, yeah.
Yeah, see, I'd always considered using 6 Grand Hammer Annihilators, because nothing survives that. Nothing survives that. It's awesome.
The thing that's nice about the Questers is you can send them out. Like when I play with the Lord Celestin, like I'll send them out to get flanks usually early, and then teleport back in and meet him, like meet the Celestin like near the middle, and then have it for like turn 2 or 3, depending. There's just better movement with the Questers than 6 Grand Hammers like walking up the field.
Yeah,
they're way easier to ignore.
I agree. You have to
Whereas
drop Grand Hammers.
You can teleport him somewhere, and then they can teleport themselves. Like there's that second kind of moment you can bring them into the game.
Yeah. Well, I think lists can use both. And I think Thunderhead Host is now suddenly a very good battle formation, because all 3 of these units are all very good. Which makes Vigilors a little bit less useful, right? Vigilors are still going to be good for buffing or shooting without having to spend command points. They're still a screen, so they're still a good unit. But just these 3 units being very good has really changed a lot in my list building. I love the idea of just having 1 Quester on each side of the battlefield, like playing the flanks, and then as soon as you need them to, just teleport here or there or down or anywhere you need them to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Questers are nuts, man. I can't believe.
And when they do get that 5-up ward, it makes them like really, really great.
Yeah.
And you probably like you will get it maybe in half the games you play.
Just don't play Star Strike.
Yeah, there's some of them that you can't even get it at all.
Yeah, like compare Questers to Reinforced Liberators. Same point cost. Liberators are 25 max. They have crit mortals, sure, but 25 max versus 38 max. Like, you just do so much more damage.
I feel sorry for Vanquishers. It's like, what are Vanquishers like? What do they do?
Done. Totally.
Bigger
Questions
footprint.
Being 200 insane.
As the young kids say these days, they're cooked.
Yeah, I've never understood the cooked thing. I'm an old person, and it's like I hear people say it's cooked. It's like, is that good or bad? Because I hear people say, "Oh, he's cooking." It's like that's a good thing, right? Like he cooked. Oh, the thing was good. Oh, he cooked. It's cooked is bad. I'm starting to sound like an old person, but I don't understand it. It's too complex.
Zurich Smasher Gaming says, I was a bit mad that Stormstrike Palladors did not get 100 points for up. Zurich, they can't do that, because right now they're really, really trying to not make this game Age of Cavhammer, and dropping any points on Cavalry when Cavalry has the reputation it does in the game is like super risky. I think they just want to wait and see what happens.
Yeah,
but then they dropped Cavaliers.
Yeah.
Well, because the cities is like that at least like that unit does 0 damage. It does no damage at all. I fought that unit multiple times. What's really scary to me is Barrow Guard. I don't think people are ready for this. I think Barrow Guard are like the next Morbeg Knights. For those of you who don't know, they're not as good as the retreat and charge thing, but it is damn near impossible to kill them.
Cavaliers don't have to do damage. They're 30 health for 300 points on a 10-inch move with a 5-up board.
Mm-hmm.
It's absurd. They're questers. They're mounted questers.
Yeah. I mean, more Age of Canhammer is firmly underway. I think I think it's we've basically got Stormstrike Paladors, and they're worried that we might just end up spamming them, which is I've expressed this concern before. Like if they drop to 180, what happens when people start bringing 2 into 6 blocks of them? Sure, it's not maybe as great as Vanguard Paladors, but it's still gonna annoy the crap out of people.
There's value in health. High health is good. Period.
I mean, you could look at Chaos Knights, right? Like you could do 2x10 Chaos Knights to put 80 health on a 3+ save on the board, and have plenty of stuff for everything else.
Yeah, and you can give that block of 5-up ward with a Chaos Sorcerer Lord. In our army specifically, you can teleport those guys out with a Lord Relictor if they get stuck in combat, and then they can charge again. So it's like it can get not very fun to fight. I'll just put it that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fast, high health, dangerous combination. Right, pinning potential is really high, and then it just has to do enough damage, not high damage, but enough damage. Like Khorne Skull Crushers, the mortal one with the 2-up save. They're basically a joke unit because they just do basically 0 damage. Stormstrike Paladors do more damage than that. So that has to be considered when you look into their point cost. Yeah. I would like Stormstrikes at 180, but 190, when you compare it to Questers, it's like, okay, well, I'm trading, 3 health, 10 points less, way less damage, but I'm fast. And that's fine. If you compare it to Questers, and if Questers are fair, and let's assume they are, then 190 Paladors is actually okay. Yeah.
Okay, hear me out. I think Questers are fair because infantry is still having a bit of a tough time in this game despite 5-up wards. That's my only argument. Sure, but it's a 6 block of infantry. It's gonna get a hit most of the time with -2 rend on most things that try to target it. And against that, with a 5-up ward, it's still good. Like that defensive profile is still like that's the gold standard. That's what we want. But it still isn't as incredibly strong as say 6 Vanguard or 6 Morvex.
Oh, for sure.
So
yeah,
that's what'll keep it in check.
Yeah. All right, let's talk Sequitors. Remember when we reviewed them and we're like, this is a cool war scroll. Why is it 170 points? And I think I even said it should be 120. Right? And now it is. We have seen a 50-point drop on an infantry unit. For 2 months, yes.
Less than 2, man. Less than 2. It's 7 weeks.
You have 8 weekends.
Why did they even bother? It's so weird.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's enough.
Because Paul's conspiracy theory was they're only... Paul had a tinfoil theory where he said they're only allowed to drop 6 units or something every battle scroll of ours. So, once they wanted to do it last time around, but they hit the quota. They hit the limit. That's what happened.
Yeah, I would have loved to have these things for another 4 months. Because they have a very cool ability that shuts off weapon abilities if they're defending an objective. And it's so cool. It's really hard to use. It's very situational. They also do okay damage. They're between... at their best case scenario, they're comparable to Questers in damage output.
Yes. I think Okay, I played them at 170. This was just a fun game, so not super competitive. They are actually astoundingly good. I was hoping they would drop because it's and for those who have them, please don't go out and buy these. But for those who have them, putting these Talron, we were just talking about the Talron Annihilators. If you put 10 Sequitors behind a Talron, it's cool. I can negate crit mortals, crit 2 hits, your anti whatever rend,
charge
your
+1 damage. Yeah, that's a huge one.
It's on a 3-up save, that is an insanely tanky effect. Being able to ignore anti-infantry especially means I will always save on a 3-up. That's crazy.
Oh, how about the fact that you don't even have to have that as the only unit? You can just hide them behind the unit you're trying to protect. Oh, you're in combat with my hammer? Oh, you don't have real damage output anymore. Because I have Sequitors behind my unit, I think that's their role, because if you look at them reinforced, it's just use Questers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. But as a utility piece, they're really, really good. Especially with the Sacrosanct stuff that can revive them or give them +1 to wound from Estrella, which is currently a buff that nobody's getting. I even forget to buff Estrella with it sometimes, because it's whatever, right?
Is it a dice roll for the ignoring weapon abilities?
No.
Or is it just
No.
pick a unit?
It's
If you're in
channel.
combat.
It's channel my shields. If you're in combat,
Combat,
channel your shields.
Yeah.
nice.
If you're in combat with them, you don't get weapon abilities, which is great.
Yeah, like having them tag along is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Just staple them to like a unit. Like staple them
Yeah.
to Grand Hammers, staple them to Shield Annihilators. It's like cool.
Mhm.
Your anti-infantry run doesn't work, and now I'm at a 2-up state.
or even better, your crit mortals don't work.
That's the best one. That's the best one by far.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, it's good. They're a good unit. For 8 weekends. 7 now. This weekend's over. 7 more weekends. That's all you get. But whatever. Took them long enough. You can still play Legends, right? Like, there's nothing stopping you from playing Legends later. So, just not competitively. Okay, so these I put in the not enough tier, because I don't think these point changes are enough to make these units any significantly better than they were. Like, obviously they're better. They're cheaper. But enough to sway my opinion on whether or not I want to use them? No, I don't think so. Bastion, down 20 points. I think he needs another 20 or 30, down to like 220, 230. I think that's where he should sit. He should be a replacement for Estrella once we get the Legends rotation. I think that's where Bastion should be. 250 is a bit much. What do you guys think, though? Am I off the mark? Because Bastion is seeing some play. People are doing interesting things with him, but I think he's overcosted.
And I think if people start playing around with his AOR, like we've always talked about it, that Army of Renown, that like maybe there could be a build there. I don't think a lot of people have actually really tried it or put a lot into it. But now that like half the units from that AOR have gone down in points, there might be something there. So Bastion is interesting, and then people just tend to like really love him. So
all I'm going to say about that is, 5.5 years ago, I argued they should be 250. Paul said they should be 220, and we were called crazy. I think Warhammer Weekly called us crazy too. And now he's 250. I've always said he's playable at 250. He's good at 220, but he's playable at 250.
Yeah.
And I think we might see that.
I want every unit to be good. Every unit in every army should be good. That's the standard.
Yes, right. So I think he is definitely, playable at 250. I think you can make a list with him and not feel like you're hampering yourself with a fragile foot hero that costs 300 points.
His biggest problem is that he's really good with companion attacks, because that's what Vigilors don't buff, right? He wants to be alongside Stormdrake Guard, ideally, or Dracoths, or I want to say Dracolines, but not really, no. But he has no synergy with his deployment move with these units. So, like, he's got 2 different rules that are at odds with each other. I guess what you can do is, like, run him with Stormdrakes and Prosecutors, but then you still want a Wizard and Priest in your list, so it's like you're spending more on support so that you can skip Vigilors. Why don't you just bring Vigilors and all-out attack the one unit that you want to all-out attack with? You know, like, it's that extra command point is not as good as it seems.
I feel weird about it because it's like that extra command point lets me do things I normally wouldn't do with my command point pool. It means I have 1 more for redeploy. It can mean I have 1 more for covering fire. It can mean I have 1 more for power through.
Yeah.
Or even an all-out defense. And I think that's where that economy changes. And I want to point out his shooting is actually not bad.
It always misses for me every time.
It's on 2s and 2s.
I know. That's only 69% accurate. It still misses almost a third of the time.
Okay, but I think his shooting is fine. But like, what I really also like about him, I've used him in this role sometimes. If I know something can't kill him, I oftentimes tend to like move him towards that and almost bait something out. Because if he's in combat and he kills even 1 model, it has negated all their efforts.
Yeah, he has to kill them.
And I think like, I think it's possible. I think it like. Sure, maybe against Stage of Darkness, maybe they get lucky with their saves, but with Usquar, will probably kill in most cases, at least 1 model.
I think we're going to go into more like softer targets. Like, we're not going to have the slaves meta anymore. So there's going to be more stuff for him to hit on the flanks. He's not like a centerpiece hero, which is what you'd expect him to be from how he looks aesthetically. He just looks like a big Stormcast dude you'd stick in the middle of your army and he charges forward with everyone. But he's actually not that. He's the guy who sits on the flank like a unit of questers, killing stuff, regenerating health, surviving the light damage that they're going to do.
he's like a strategist. He's like a strategist that's like helping command stuff, but at the same time, he doesn't have to be overly supported with health regen like Krondys or Karazai. He can sort of take care of himself as long as if he gets outnumbered, he kills one model. And it's like, cool, you didn't kill me, I've fully healed. So try.
You know what? I'd be okay with him at 250 if his all-out attack buff wasn't 12 inches. If it was like 18 or 24, if he could just like issue all-out attack from super far away, I'd like him a lot more. But the fact that you have to keep him near the front line really makes him a lot worse for me.
Last edition, it was anywhere on the field, right? It was like Voice of Thunder or something.
It was sick.
Yeah, it was from anywhere. It was great.
Yeah.
Okay, Lord Veritin, now the cheapest priest at 110 points. That's a good niche.
Good change.
Not good enough to really change my opinion of the Lord Veritin. That's a really bad squeeze. Like 10. I need 10 points in my list, so I'm going to drop the Knight Relictor down to Lord Veritin. That is the worst feeling. Because that Knight Relictor is so good.
I don't mind it. I think the war reduction is good. I think an extra unbind is also really, really good. And I think like
it's okay.
Especially with the Ruination Brotherhood, I find myself taking the Lord Veritin because Iriden is only priest 1. And I want to bank points for that Morta prayer so I can snipe out heroes.
Yeah, I guess so. You can always use Storm Coven there, though.
For prayers?
For unbinds.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, Neve went down. Or Darklings, yeah. For 7 more weeks.
Yeah.
I didn't know she was there. Okay. Neve Black Talon went down 20 points. That's interesting because Neve's not bad. She's just overpriced. And I thought 340 was too much. I don't remember what I said. It may have even been 320. But now that she's 320, I think that's still too much. To be like a competitive pick. Like, oh, let's build a Neve list. You know, she's not that. She brings Vanguard, which is something. Her Vanguard Chamber ability got it too, right? It was included on that list.
Yeah,
she got it too.
I'm just happy she has.
Better double check.
Checking right now.
I'm pretty sure she got it. I'm happy she's the same points as Aor. Like it never made sense for her to have plus 20. Like why?
Yeah, okay, she does.
Like nobody's like she gains access to deep strike in her army, but like ain't nobody deep striking her. Like her whole thing is to run in charge. Like
yeah, RORs feel mostly useless, right? Like they're not being pushed in the game, which is like why bother? Except for Callous and Toll. Yeah, that's and maybe the new Drake, just because it gives reserves to every army in death. Maybe that one, depending on the point cost. But like that's it. The rest of them are just not good, and like nobody talks about them.
I don't think that Drake War Scroll is great though either. Like I think it's probably gonna be unless it's like super cheap. The War Scroll doesn't seem that good. Like it's just like an overpriced Man Crusher Gargant at this point.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly better. I think a flying monster, like shooting, is obviously its weakness, but it's really annoying in the sense that it can engage something, and if it survives, it has a free power through.
Well, if you roll
this monster is like probably like one of the worst keywords to have in this game.
Yeah, there's no benefit.
True. Yeah, it's on a big pie plate too, so it's not the easiest thing to move around.
It's a cabbage now, right? 160.
Right.
Yeah, that's I don't know. Can't fit wholly within 6 inches of a table edge. I don't know about that dog.
Yeah. and it flies, so you can't even benefit from terrain.
Yeah.
Just gonna point something at its head. It's gonna disappear.
Well, Androsta is just gonna kill it. That's really the issue, right?
Yeah.
Androsta now 20 points cheaper.
Not enough.
No.
Like,
still
280. Below 300 by now. Come on. She was 310 when we ended last edition, and we still wasn't seeing play.
Yeah.
Or no, she was 260. Sorry, she was 260.
Why would you take her? Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, just make her the same as Cells in Prime. Like,
yeah, it's like they keep after relearning their lessons. It's like we have to keep teaching them the same lessons every 3 years. Like Androsta came all the way down to I think 250 last edition, and then they like never saw play ever still, and now they made it the same points.
She did see play.
Where
at the very end of third,
there was a 5-0 Stormkeep list that used her. For the record, she was a competitive pick.
Oh, come on.
It was a very good list. I'm telling you, it was.
I know,
she was a cornerstone.
But I'm saying like she barely got any time in their day before we switched to fourth, and she became like 340 or something insane. It's like no, just let her be 270 because she doesn't have a 4 award anymore, and like let's actually have her play on the tabletop. Cool.
We have seen ridiculously huge cuts for Stormcast hero costs. They came out ridiculously high, way higher than they should be, and now they're getting more reasonable over time. Right, Lord Imperator, if you recall, was 170.
170.
Yeah, that
right?
was insane.
Yeah. The Knight Venator is still 190 points.
Yeah, weird.
Inexplicable. It's like they costed the hero keyword to do something. You know, like they add a point cost because of certain things. Fly, 12-inch move, ward, hero. All these keywords cost points, and Andrasta has a lot of keywords. 3d6 charge. You know, like she's a keyword queen. And
Excel spreadsheet balancing. Yeah.
It could also be that maybe they have like some models in mind, like this is meant to be used in a casual setting, and we don't want her to be busted in a casual setting, you know, so we keep her cost high. I don't know.
No, I would say it's probably the keyword bingo.
Yeah. Because Prime has no rules, so he's gonna keep getting cheaper.
Yeah.
Because he just has crit mortal. That's his keyword.
Yeah.
That's all he needs.
Yeah, I think Andrasta can
rolls
still
some
get a lot
sixes.
cheaper.
I mean, oof.
What would you say? Like 270, 260?
Prime should be 270. Andrasta should be 280.
Okay. For the 3, because she has a 3d6. Yeah.
Yes, the 3d6 really does matter. She can never be much cheaper than prosecutors.
Okay, or at least she needs to be around the same as like she needs to be slightly lower than a reinforced unit of prosecutors.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then like her value comes from like, yeah, she's worse than prosecutors, but she's a hero with a regiment, so you're kind of you're alleviating your tax, right? I didn't mention this, and I wanted to mention it. One of the reasons the Star Drake change is so good is because we frequently run double cavalry lists, and that's like 480 points for a cavalry block, right? Dracolines or Vanguard Paladors or Dracoths, they're around like 440 to 480 points. Star Drake is that same cost, except he pays the hero tax for your next unit, right? So before it's like, well, I want to bring Paladors. Okay, well, which tax are you paying? Are you paying the Estrella tax? Are you paying the Aquilor tax? It's like, no, I'm paying the second hammer unit.
Exactly.
Right? I'm getting a big dragon on top of it.
Yeah.
So that is a really,
that can project out like his shooting. You know, people always underestimate it, but it is annoying.
Yeah,
to be getting
24 inches. It's like it's a cannon.
Yeah.
Wait, who? Star Drake?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shoots 8 max
He's got a long
damage.
strike. He's got a long
2.
strike in his mouth, basically.
Yeah.
It's better than it seems. And then he pays the hero tax, so then he just brings whatever units you want. He's going to be a staple after Legends rotates a whole bunch of stuff out.
100%.
Yeah.
Which is great because I think it's a really great model. Like Krondas and Karas are fine, but I think the Star Drake model is still incredible.
It holds up. I agree. It's got a weird pose, but the model is cool. Yeah. Okay. Back to it. Never enough. And Lord Imperator, 120 points. I'm telling you, he's going to be 80 points. He's still not going to see play. This is a trash tier model because the thing he does isn't actually worth any points. You should get points for including a regiment with this guy in your list. You should get an extra 40 points for bringing him. He's bad. He's really bad.
I'd play him at 90. I would play him at 90.
For what?
All of them. Like
why?
Okay, so the way we're thinking about Annihilators and Greyhammers again is always on the defensive. Like, what happens if you charge them? What can we do to you? I kind of like the original offensive role that I did in 3rd edition. If I can get to repeat that with Gardas and Lord Imperator, I would. So especially since now we have extremely durable sort of anvils in the form of Reclusians and Quester Soulsworn.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, and the thing is, like, remember, it's not just infantry; it's also any Stormcast.
Yeah.
There's stuff I can try with even Dracoths if I have to, because one of the Dracoths' main thing is like you deep strike, you like they redeploy and your breath is gone. So like that's like so much of your damage potential for 4 Dracoths gone. But if you can deep strike and move D3, you can offset a little bit of that redeploy risk. You're actively giving your opponent, hey, you can't just like redeploy 1 inch away and then screw me over.
I think they shouldn't be just chasing him down in points. They should honestly just make his War Scroll you can't redeploy.
I mean, they did mention War Scroll rewrites.
Like,
New war scrolls for stuff.
One war scroll in every army gets rewritten.
For us, it's Lord Vigilant or Mortar, so I already know that. But I'm saying if his points drop to 90, the fact that he's a sub commander at 90, I would honestly try him.
What if they just change the D3 to 3?
Because it can move Catav and Storm Drake Guard, and they don't want that because it annoys people.
So what?
Well, it annoys people.
On
Honestly,
average,
I'm not saying so what.
or 4, right?
Yeah. People don't like Storm Drake Guard 6 inches away from their face. It annoys them. I don't know what they're talking.
Make him 170 points. Make it 3 inches. Just make him useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think.
Or give me like one unit that's guaranteed 4 inches or something. You know,
Can't
like
Effect just do this with like a spell or something anyway?
Yeah, from like all the way across the board. Yeah, they do this.
Yep.
Yeah, just give me one unit guaranteed 3 inches, you know, like Fed or something, and or at least like make him like the strategist he was with like a free all-out attack, like a hero that is not Bastion, or maybe like not all-out attack, but like a free covering fire, free all-out defense. You know, make him like he was an actual strategist in last.
He had utility.
I got it.
Yeah, he had utility for the rest of the game when you played him last edition. It was awesome.
I figured out his niche. Any Stormcast unit.
Oh, cheapest hero for any Stormcast unit?
Yes.
That's it. He's a strategist. He brings whatever he wants to battle. That's his niche. It's not good, but it's easy.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something.
Okay. We also got nerfs on top of the Vanguard Chamber nerf. Prosecutors went up 10 points. Vigilers went up 10 points. And for some unknown reason, Hurricane Raptors went up 10 points.
I'm just gonna say that's probably just like an intern. Like he just like they were like, hey, I need 10 plus on like Vanguard like Raptors, and he just like, oh, you just saw Vanguard Raptor, and that was it. That's all he read.
Okay, remember how we talked about a quota for buffs? What if there's a quota for nerfs? And this was meant to be in the last battle scroll with the nerfs to Paladors and Long Strikes, right?
Is this just okay? Let me ask you something. Do you think it's because they're starting to see these castigator lists pop up, and they're worried that we might switch to hurricanes as soon as castigators rotate out?
No, we're not.
They're not going to castigators now.
There's no way we're switching.
Well, terrible. Like, if you look at it, they basically pointed hurricanes and castigators the same now. So someone at that studio is thinking that these are equivalent units.
Yeah, no.
Which is insane to me. Like, if they should be castigators, but have the red one base and the anti. They should be castigators, but for against infantry. That's what they should have been. Rotate. But they're just not.
That's what it should be. Castigators just shouldn't rotate. They're a perfect unit. I love them.
Yeah, castigators are great.
I don't understand. Like, who used a Hurricane Raptor, and then somebody at Games Workshop saw it and was like, "Oh, this is too good."
That one dude at Worlds, I got like 4th place or something at the very beginning of the edition. That was it.
Yeah, nobody's using them.
But isn't their range is 12, isn't it?
Right. So a 3-inch redeploy gets you out.
Insane to me.
Yeah.
It's not like a pistol.
3-inch redeploy.
And now Vanguard Chamber is only on 1 unit, and it sure as hell is not going to be on a unit of Hurricanes anymore. So this unit is like dead. Like it'd have to be so cheap now, like 90 points. It would have to drop to be useful. Maybe more. It's bad. It's real bad.
Or it needs a war scroll change. It needs to have 15-inch range or something.
Well, it is the one war scroll that changed between the index and the battle tome. So maybe I have a crazy theory. Stormcast are getting another release this edition. That's my crazy theory. And I think we're going to hear about it this summer because this is the 10-year anniversary of Age of Sigmar. And the factions that are getting releases this year, we know Khorne's getting stuff. So wouldn't it make sense for Stormcast, the other launch army, to also get stuff? And looking at the stuff that was kept around, right? Ionis from the original box got a new model. Celestin Prime is still legal, despite being the old style armor. What else? Prosecutors got new models. Retributors got revamped into Annihilators. Vandus is still around with no new model. Still legal for some reason, even though he's like basically dead. He's like locked away in prison forever.
In jail.
He's in crazy jail, which is, so maybe, crazy theory, Stormcast are getting another book this edition. And, I mean, we definitely are getting new Vanguard at some point, right? They've basically designed
maybe not a book, but remember how Orange's got a supplement? Maybe something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I could see that for us.
It would just be war scrolls, no actual abilities, just like a book of war scrolls, basically.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Like they could fix like you were saying earlier, like the Morgriff, like in like a supplement, like right, just be like, this is the new War Scroll. We apologize for giving you garbage at release.
And it lets them introduce the Knight Zephyros again into our roster after it rotates in June.
I think the new War Scroll
just released one.
I think the new War Scroll is going to be a Knight Zephyros because there is a new Knight Zephyros that they're releasing and people are spending money on, but it can't be used soon, even though it's for sale.
And that's really bad marketing. It's like, oh, hey, buy this unit that is technically rotating out in June and you can never use afterwards. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay, so that's Hurricanes. Prosecutors and Vigilors. Vigilors are probably the unit that needs to be nerfed here. Of all the stuff in Stormcast, it was Vigilors and Paladors that needed to be nerfed, right? Vigilors are incredibly efficient. They were in every single list, and they were so efficient that it was like, well, why would we use companion attacks? They don't get buffed by Vigilors. Rather than it being the other way around, which is the way you should think is, well, I'm bringing companion attacks, I'm bringing this unit because it gets buffed with Vigilors. You're kind of thinking, I'm not bringing this unit because it doesn't get buffed by this unit. Like, that's an internal balance problem. Prosecutors were a big part of that equation because Vigilors and Prosecutors worked really well together. Everything Prosecutors did got +1 hit. You could find a Stour them. You'd be on 2s, special assignment. You know, these just paired naturally together. I think Prosecutors are just like way worse now. Like I'm not even considering them in list building anymore. And it's not because they went up 10. It's because they went up 10 and Vigilors went up 10. So like lists that had, 6 Prosecutors, 2 units of Vigilors, that's +40. That's a hard squeeze to make. I can't make it in a lot of lists. But Vigilors, I'm still bringing one. Usually one now. I'm not bringing 2 anymore in lists.
One's enough.
Yeah. The Prosecutor change is like 300 points for 12 health. What are we doing? Like,
even so they can have so much impact. Like some games they win the game for me.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't. So it is a bit of a risky situation now. Getting into 300 points, it's a bit much.
Yeah. You also have to bring a hero that can bring Ruination, right? So it's not that easy because most of our really good heroes, like to bring Ruination these days, you have to be building into it. So like Lord Terminos or sometimes like a Vigilant and a Gryfstalker. But our other top tier heroes are like Knight Relictor, Knight Arcanum, who only bring Warrior Chamber. So it can actually be tough to find room for a hero that brings Prosecutors. And when you start to add,
say it's a 3d6. Yeah, it's a 3d6 tax, but it's undeserved. Like they're not the giant health blocks that Chosen and Varangard are. So I don't know who it is that's getting beat by like 6 Prosecutors. They were like good, okay? They were not overpowered good, and I think things are allowed to be good without necessarily getting nerfed. I don't think we were seeing spams of them because a spam of them doesn't make any sense. Most lists would take like 6 of them and put Sentinels of the Bleak Citadels on them. I don't know who this annoyed, frankly, but it's weird.
We are all mutual friends with one person who did technically spam Prosecutors. So maybe it's his fault.
Could be.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, like they've been making Ionis better and better and better, right? Obviously they haven't lowered his points quite enough yet, but he's really, really solid and he synergizes with Prosecutors very well. Like I've played it now maybe like 3 or 4 games where I've been experimenting with Ionis quite a bit and with Prosecutors, getting them the blessed weapons. It's like 8 or 9 out of 10 tries. Like it's happening. You know what I mean? Because he gets the 2 chances to do it, potentially a third if you countercast in the other player's team or turn. So like it's pretty reliable, and that extra attack with the Prosecutors I find to be really, really, really great. It makes them able to take down some bigger threats that they were maybe not quite killing before.
Yeah, but the problem is once they go up to 300 points, it kind of reopens the discussion on like their damage is the same as Questers. 6 models, 38 max. Questers are 6 models, 38 max. It's what made Prosecutors good wasn't the defense, it was the flying 3d6 charge. Right? And is that worth 100 points over Questers, especially when you drop a third of your health? I don't know about that. And now like we can take Shield Annihilators instead of playing this like precision fragile scalpel unit, we can bring a super tough, cheaper unit that just lands and just takes beatings for days, right? It just, I think with nothing changing, this discussion was going to happen anyway, because prosecutors are so fragile. They've always had that liability. The point change kind of just brings it to the surface, and especially with regiments, I think that's really the bigger issue. Is it's like, you really want to dedicate a War Master slot basically to these guys? I don't know. There might be just better units you can bring in that regiment. Like Castigators right now are huge, right? Castigators, Paladors, and then you have like a 4th flex slot. That's usually what it is, and maybe that slot is prosecutors, maybe not.
I think also like prosecutors synergize really well with the Stormreach portal, so it was just like a natural thing for people to be, bringing 6 with their list, sending them out suicide mission turn 1, get in behind an army, maybe kill a hero, maybe strategically wound a big hammer unit so that they only have half that unit left. I think they're still going to see a lot of play, specifically because of the portal. If the portal wasn't there, I don't know that they would see as much play at all.
Yeah. When we did our most recent tier list, we called them like almost S tier. That's how good prosecutors were. I think they're still good. They're instead of like an A+ unit, they're like an A-, maybe a B+, something like that. Still very good, but just not as ubiquitous as they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I thought I put it on the slide. I want to talk to you guys about your thoughts on what happens in 7 weeks when all of the Sacrosanct, a whole bunch of Warrior Chamber, and some Vanguard units are being removed from the game. What are your thoughts on list building? Where do we pivot into? Do we try to keep the same playstyles we have now? We just use, I guess, technically worse units, because if they were better units, we'd just be using them now. Like, we're dropping Castigators for long strikes. Or do we just go into new playstyles altogether? Do we try like a grindy Shield Annihilator with ward spam kind of thing?
I think we're losing a lot of shooting. I keep forgetting and then remembering about like losing Judicators as well.
Yeah.
That's a huge one, because it's like, I know not a ton of people have been taking them, but they're incredible at reinforced unit at 280. They do so much. We're going to literally be limited all of a sudden to 140 point Vigilers and 200 point long strikes.
Yeah.
I don't love that. It's a lot. It's expensive. It's inefficient.
We'll also have the Knight Judicator. If they ever fix regiments and if he gets a little bit cheaper, I think he could be viable.
Yeah, but then you're kind of spamming him, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess, right? Like,
yeah,
you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think Vigilors maybe come down again in the future, potentially, because I think just 140 starts to make them kind of expensive.
I don't like this kind of spreadsheet balancing at all. Like, it's like, oh, this unit is seeing play +10. Like, why?
Yeah.
We can let things be good, guys. Like, we don't have to have everything be punished for seeing play. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's not being spammed and it's just a linchpin of like a lot of lists. Yeah, people are taking 1, people are taking 2. Like, why do we have to go around doing this every edition? Like, it just feels so like weirdly punishing. Hey, you painted and enjoyed this model. Guess what? +10. Fuck you. Like, what? Why?
So I'll play devil's advocate, and I think some of you guys will agree with this point. Sometimes a unit being so good causes problems for internal balance, and it could not be an external problem, but it could be an internal problem. Like long strikes, before they got nerfed, were an internal balance problem. They were just too good, right? They did everything the best. There was no reason to use anything else. Then they got nerfed, and it's all of a sudden, oh, well, we can still use long strikes. They're still good, right? They still do exactly what they did before, but with less. But now other options are viable too. It's like, okay, well, now we have more choices, right? So sometimes nerfing something for the sake of internal balance can be a good thing. Pity nerfs because of inclusion, I agree. I don't like those. It's like, well, if Vigilors are on every list, well, they don't combo with everything in Stormcast. Why about like buffing Stormdrake Guard instead of nerfing Vigilors, right? Stormdrake Guard and Vigilors have anti-synergy because most of the damage from Stormdrakes doesn't benefit from Vigilors at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I understand prosecutors. Like it's like okay, you've lowered annihilators, you've increased prosecutors because you kind of want to delineate those two or like differentiate those two. You don't want annihilators and prosecutors competing, and prosecutors have a 3d6 charge. They're sort of self-reliant. Sure, again, Vigilance just seems like the most bizarre change to me. And it's like, I know there's like a ton of people in the AOS Coach Discord constantly complaining about Stormcast hitting on twos. I'm like, bro, this is an elite army. Like we're like Custodes level of models on the board.
We have 6
We should be
models. Our reinforced units are 6 models. We have lists full
Yeah.
of 6 model units that are all
Yeah,
reinforced.
like, what do you want? Like, yeah, this is a very elite army, and like it when it dies, it dies. Like we cannot afford to like not like hit what we're trying to hit.
Yeah,
Like, it's
frankly,
fine. Like,
frankly, we should be more accurate than 2s and 2s. Like, they should bring rerolls back in a limited way. It would make sense for armies like Slaves or Stormcast or OBR, like really elite hitters, like maybe some elves even. They hit on like 2s, rerolling 1s because they're so accurate because they're elves, right? Like these things make sense. So nobody wants to have that conversation. Everybody hates rerolls.
Yeah, going back to
rerolls are fine. Yeah, yeah.
What are we
I just don't like.
actually?
Yeah.
What are we actually bringing now that's going away?
Dracolines, Castigators, Griff Charger, Estrella.
Zephyros.
Oh, Estrella is the big one.
Estrella's
but they're
pretty big.
fixing that with the other take everything changes.
Zephyros is gone, maybe just for a little while. We'll see.
Yeah.
I think they're making it
actually Gabriel. I want to say Gabriel is actually better than Gardas right now because
Gabriel was just about to be good too. You know, because he can bring Castigators.
Is Gabriel going away?
Yes.
Gabriel's Gardas good. Yeah, he is. He's rotating out.
Yeah, he was killed.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Korgus Cool
better than Imperadin. Like his role with the Grandhammers is way better.
Way better. Yeah. He
in
was
in those lists.
He was perma-killed. He was perma-killed by Korgus Cool, who is going to use. He's put his skull as like the last skull on his big pile, and Khorne is now allowing him to ascend to Demonhood. So there's going to be a new Korgus Cool model, is what I've heard.
Can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully it pays reference to Gavriel. Maybe we can just put Gavriel's corpse on the base, you know?
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.
He's sick. Okay, what else is going away? With a point drop, the Castellan could have been really good, you know, negating wards entirely, or just giving yourself a 6-up ward. Doesn't sound very good, but it actually is very good on Stormcast. We have no 6-up ward source at all, outside the Ruination Brotherhood.
It's good for mortal attacks and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but there's not that much that's really being used all the time.
No, a lot of it could have been if they buffed it, right? Like Castigators and Sequitors now are actually really good. It's just if they had buffed like Retributors, Protectors, Ballistas could have even been good if they were the right cost. Like there's a lot of stuff that could have happened. But realistically, you're right. It's mostly shooting, Dracolines, and Estrella.
Yeah.
That's really
it's about to get a lot worse. Like losing Judicators and Castigators is gonna be rough.
That's rough. Yeah, because those two have been my sort of go-tos. Long strikes it is back on the menu.
Yeah, I guess Castigators can just be Hurricane Raptors. You know, easy proxy there. Judicators can be long strikes. I guess you just rebase them. Night Judicator. If the Night Judicator was like 130, 120 and we could bring like just a ton of exemplars, like if Stormcast could just bring 4 exemplars in a regiment, for example, if Celestin Prime could just roll up with a bunch of Night Judicators, that'd be sick. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So he's like close to being viable, very close. And you maybe wouldn't even need more than 2, because you could do like 3 long strikes and 2 Judicators. That could be a viable shooting core. That's around 480 points. That's pretty close to what we're spending right now on shooting. Super low volume though. Only 9 max is.
That's the thing. Yeah.
We don't have a volume shooting option. That's good. Hurricanes are just really bad.
I mean, I think of the KJ as artillery more than anything. Like he's an artillery piece basically in our army.
You'd think so, but he really wants to get within 12.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm really looking forward to Stardrake. I think that's going to be the first thing I pivot into with the Legends rotation. Stardrake, Paladors, Long Strikes, Prosecutors. fill it with, Arcanum or Relictor or whatever you need. Like that's a solid list already, and no legend models are in there.
Yep. Yeah. And Ionis, I think, is going to see more and more play. I've really been enjoying playing with him because if you have buff pieces, which could be questers or prosecutors, you take a couple turns just focusing on buffing, and then you just send him in, and with his ward now he can negate abilities. He slaps like reasonably hard. He is just annoying for people. Like he does earn his points as long as you do commit him like turn 2 or 3, I guess, into the fight. Like you have to sort of like commit him once you're done buffing.
Yeah, stuff. I like that he doesn't have to pay 150 points for Praetors. He just brings his own 5 up board. I thought that I really like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It goes a long way.
Yeah, so the Legends rotation, aside from shooting and the Dracoline enjoyers that are still out there, doesn't seem to be really affecting much, especially with this latest Battlescroll making Annihilators, Celestant Prime, Questers a lot better. It looks like we have more options than ever currently. Like there's just a lot of options available now, and we're not losing that much. Like it will suck to lose Castigators. I'm just starting to like the Torlon again all of a sudden, but you can still play them casually, right? It's not like these models are dead forever. You can still play games in a basement somewhere. So, yeah, I'm not doom and gloom about the rotation. That's where I'm at.
We always adapt. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't been using Estrella for a while, so I think that's going to be an easy one to drop.
Yeah. Aquilor is actually not bad. People really underestimate how useful the Aquilor can be.
I think it helps that he dropped 40 points. I think that's a big deal.
Let's see if this works. Okay. So, let's talk the rest of the Battlescroll and army tier list. So, unfortunately, I can't share this with you guys. You're just going to have to look on the stream. In the S tier, previously, last time we did a tier list, we had Slaves, Stormcast, and Gits. So let's talk about Slaves. Where do we think they're going to be in the next 3 months before the Journal's Handbook, let's say?
A, yeah. I think they just dropped just to A.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Like top of A or bottom of A?
Still top of A.
Still top of A.
Okay.
And I'm for the record, I want to say I did argue FEC was going to be at least A tier when this last, and we had a bit of a scuffle of doubts. I'm like, y'all are underestimating how good Visharan and 2-6 Morbid Knights are because I fought this.
Well,
that tended to.
I played the 2x6. I didn't play the 3 or 4x6 versions of it. Those were just really absurd.
It's also like there's a very clear market difference between a skilled FAC player and like a not skilled one. It's like when you play like a Fire Slayer player like Jeremy who knows what they're doing, like it can feel very helpless.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
Totally.
It's like it responds to skill really well, and especially if you can like leverage your noble deeds and recursion. And I fought something like that, and I fought someone who knows how to use the army like that. And I'm telling you, it was a slog. It was very, very close. And like I lost a couple times because we racked and like played a bunch of times. But it's like, yeah, the army was good. Like I was telling everyone, like, no, this is an 8-tier army. This was already kind of an 8-tier army, and it's kind of become air S because of these point drops.
Okay. Stormcast. Are we still S tier? I think we are. I think with Slaves and
we're not. I think we're A. I think we're A.
Really?
Like A plus. I think like maybe A plus.
Top of A.
Yeah, I think the Vanguard Chamber nerf does make like it's like when like David's a very skilled player, but it's like you could take someone who's relatively new to the game, and there's people around here who've done this, by the way, who just built that 2-6 long strike Palador list, and they just crush with it. Like it's doing the work for them. That's not going to happen anymore.
Okay, so we're not too strong. I can accept that argument. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. S tier, in my opinion, is someone who normally goes like 2-3 at a tournament suddenly starts going 4-1 because the Vanguard Paladors just do the work against most of the things that are out there.
Okay, well, what army do we think is S tier currently after this Battlescroll? Maybe Cities?
I think the FEC still is S tier.
Yeah, I think FAC is still S. They lose 3 knights. I think the recursion thing is probably the biggest nerf to them, but I need to see how it's played out. I don't think it's enough.
I think that's affected games in the sense of like other armies will not complain as much trying to fight them and doing absolutely nothing against them. I don't think it does anything to like what their game plan is, you know?
Okay. Is there any other S tier army or just Flesh Eaters?
S tier armies. Skaven can always become S tier overnight if like their like list regiments get unlocked. It's like I have to wait and see because like I don't know Skaven well enough to see like how they're gonna change their list building.
Yeah. They have such a deep roster too. Small point changes can go a long way.
Yeah. In terms of other S tier stuff, a really sneaky S tier has, or not. I guess nothing's an S. No, I wouldn't say anything else is S.
Just Flesh Eaters.
I think there's just a lot more A's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot more A's now, which is good. Which is a good place to be. Yeah.
Gits. What do you guys think about the new Gits book? I'm not impressed. I think it's like
Gits drops down to C.
B or C, like B minus, C plus.
Like B minus. I think B minus.
It's B minus.
Yeah, B minus because it still could bring a lot of wounds and stuff. But I think the fact that trolls and stuff are now weaker to shooting is actually very relevant.
Yeah, the trolls were carrying the faction for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So Flesh Eaters is the only S army. Stormcast and Slaves dropped down to A. Tzeentch was really good. Is it still really good? Maybe B now?
I think it's a B tier army. So I feel like even the people that were 5-0 with Tzeentch are like 4-1ing now. So I think that justifies a B, like a B plus.
It doesn't feel like it's on the same tier as Stormcast and Slaves.
No.
Yeah, no. If it's not Caleb or Joe playing it, I don't feel that that's a good army.
What if it is them? Then would you consider it A, S? Definitely not B.
I would consider it A.
Yeah.
I would consider it A.
Okay. Okay. Well, I think like a high B seems appropriate then. Skaven. Where do we think Skaven are right now? We rank them A tier because of their potential, because they have a lot of great tools. But it's like players are really struggling with it because it's so complex.
I still think it's an A tier army. Like you could go. I think it's an army that can pretty reliably go 5-0. It's just super skill expression, right? It's the old old Stormcast problem right now. You got everybody with Skaven Tide going 1-4, 2-3s in tournaments, and then you got the flip side, somebody just like going 5-0, 4-1 with it consistently. So I think it's A. I think the floor just has to be raised in the army, and the ceiling needs to be brought down. It's just not a forgiving army. It's not a starter army, even though it's marketed as.
Yeah, I think they also struggled with Slaves, just running them over. That was probably an issue for them. Like back table deployment wasn't enough when you have such a big army, and Slaves can charge you from so far away.
Yeah, now they actually can shoot you before that happens.
Yes. So I think they're A, but I'm going to put them lower in A for now. We'll see where that ends up. Cities. So everything that was doing well for cities pretty much got nerfed, right? Like Hammerers went up. Even Drakespawn Knights went up. Like everything that was good nerfed very slightly. Is it enough to make the army weaker? Like, is it like a B plus now?
I think it's a B plus. I think you'll see somebody sneak with like a 4-1, 5-0 here and there, but I feel overall the list that was doing the 5-0 work took like 100+ point hit, and that's a lot in cities. It's not a lot in like a FEC army, but it's a lot in cities.
Yeah, I think the pivot into 2x10 Cavaliers is going to be pretty nasty. 600 points for 60 health on a 3-up save with reactive 5-up boards. It's going to be good.
It's good, but it's like, can it deal damage? Like, what's the dealing damage in that army now? Like, just
I don't think
normally
it needs to do damage. You just do Blight Kings. It's mobile Blight Kings.
Same stuff that did damage before.
No. Hang on. Blight Kings are not winning the game by themselves. What's winning the game is disease. Just like it's doing 2d3 basically at the end of every turn, and it's like it keeps going up and up and up. Like it keeps like chaining off of like other stuff.
I think they still bring hammers and executioners, right? They still bring the hammers, and now Cavaliers are just a really good anvil.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, maybe they go a little light on like the dark shard shooting and just still bring executioners and hammers alongside Cavaliers as a screen, basically. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's right. I think it's like a B plus A minus kind of thing, which you're going to hear me say a lot during this tier list, but that's because the balance in the game is actually pretty good right now. Except for Nighthaunt. I think Nighthaunt are like C. Yeah, at least.
Okay, I don't think they are C. I think the pros have just moved away from that faction. Yeah, I think it's still a good faction.
I
Okay,
agree.
but like A tier good or more like a B tier good?
I think they're at least B tier. I think the army's rules just cannot be like don't allow them to be below B. But I think it's like the pros have moved away because generally the spikes just like a faction that can do everything and they not have any like opportunity cost to it.
Okay. I think Seraphon's still A. 20-point nerf on Croak doesn't matter, really.
No.
So still a very good
I think
army.
the nerf to a lot of other things made Seraphon better.
Yeah, get ready for Croak dominating the meta. That's gonna be fun. Hooray. Okay, so we talked about Zinch Night Hunt. Bone Reapers, what are they doing these days? Just Catacross and moving up? Like, I haven't seen a very impressive OBR list in a few months.
I know one just 5-0'd at Adepticon, I think, or 4-1 at Adepticon. I think it's just mixed arms now, right?
Crawlers.
Like, I think it's still OBR. It's still like a very tactical, like army. It has the stuff there. I think it's just not third edition where it was like I ran 12 stalkers, I ran 4 Morgheists. You know, everything's like run a billion, does a billion damage. You know, just turn your brain off.
It's solid Warhammer army. It's solid Warhammer the army, so that's a firm beat.
Yeah.
It can be A tier against the correct matchup. It certainly has the tools to beat armies like 30 Blight Kings because of their manifestation lore, which is really, really good against wards. But yeah.
Can they kill fast enough? Yeah, I guess with the 5-up crits on stalkers,
yeah,
crawlers.
4 more guests, 6. Yeah, 4 more guests or 6.
4 more guests are really intense.
Or 6 Immortus Guard. The Necropolis stalkers are obviously prep, but like 6 Immortus Guard will actually put in work.
Okay, I'm gonna put them low B right now because I feel like they're not as good as the other B tier armies that we talked about already. Khorne is A, right? Maybe even S now with Bloodthirsters.
A. It's definitely A. Like A.
It's like Zinch, right? It's the same thing as Zinch. It's like the way it wins is really annoying sometimes, and it's like high skill players can really just like screw you over playing Khorne.
I hate Khorne. It's a miserable experience for both players. Stormcast versus Khorne has to be the least fun matchup. It's like either I perfectly shoot you off the board and you never engage me, or you pile into my ranks with a double turn and then I still shoot you off the board and we have like a real game, you know. But it's still not fun for either player. Idoneth Deepkin, I think they're an A tier army. I think A tier.
A.
Yeah, I think they're A. They're a sneaky A tier. Yeah.
Worse than Seraphon, better than Skaven. I think.
Better than Seraphon.
Better than Seraphon, really.
Yeah, they're faster.
Yeah, I think right now with the way the meta is, I think they're better than Seraphon.
I think
they just double you and then everything just dies.
I think they just die to Seraphon though.
No, they stay out of threat range really easily from Seraphon, and they have the speed to then get to them and then double them.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Lumineth, I think, are lower B. They got really good changes in this battle scroll. Valinor can take Sentinel, so they're gonna have very efficient lists. The problem is they're playing a very fair game of Warhammer, and every other army that's better is not playing fair. Like Flesh Eaters, Stormcast, Skaven, Slaves, Khorne. None of these are fair armies. They don't do fair things.
I agree with that assessment. Yeah, like they're roughly fair because their unfair stuff got nerfed. There is a lot of potential for like things like Severeth and Avalanor now because both these now unlock their respective temples and Venari. So I think list building got a lot more interesting and we'll have to wait to see results. But I think they're at least a B. I think like the tools in their army allow them to be a B.
Yeah,
they still have sometimes damage problems. That's all I'm going to say.
They have trouble applying their damage, and that's mostly I think just Cavaliers or not Cavaliers. What are they called? Dawn Riders. Because everybody knows how deadly they are when they charge. Everybody charges them first, and they have very few ways to avoid that happening. I think the pivot with Lumineth is going to be like a Valinor 2x10 Stone Guard, Sentinels, and then you bring like some wizard hero, maybe a Caligrave just for the free manifestations, guaranteed on the opponent's turn. And then maybe like speed, wind chargers, things like that. Like you bring something like that, but and it has to play a slower, more methodical, grindy kind of hammer and anvil game. This like everybody knows how good Dawn Riders are. They get countered so easily. It's crazy.
So I just want to say, like the Windfox spam is dead, but a single Windfox can cause a lot of like annoyance on the flanks because like
Yes.
even if it's just a 2d6 redeploy back, you have to hard commit to it to try and kill it, and then you are potentially caught out of position. So
Well, they can
I think
2d6
a single,
redeploy
like,
and then redeploy as well, right?
right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's actually, I think a single Sevireth is actually pretty good in lists, and I can actually put some work in. Like I saw a game. This is locally. I think Lenny. He's like a really good player, but he was playing Lumineth, and he lost against Zinch. It was a close game, but the Zinch player never even got, despite running Zangor on discs, which are really fast, never even got close to Sevireth. Sevireth stayed alive that whole game and kept like doing his damage, doing his thing.
Yeah.
And I believe Severus went down in points, didn't he?
I think he went down. I think
so.
his
20.
And he got a new regiment thing where he can bring
Venari, yeah. The Venari and Huracan.
Yeah, the Venari thing is huge because Lumineth was really constrained with who could bring Sentinels, and every list needs Sentinels. You just you can't play without them. They have to be there. 5 up crits on covering fire is too good. Okay. Despite that, like I said, they're too fair. Ogre Mod Tribes, A tier, low A.
Low A. I think because Monster Strikes are back on the table, and then they did the update to the Mortal Wounds. I think they're low A.
Yeah, like
are we talking monster trucks? Low A. If we're talking the foot dudes, it's like obviously it depends on what build you build. But
didn't Gun seem go down?
They're just one army. Like it's not like orcs.
Yeah,
yeah. It's just one army. When you talk ogres, you're talking about Beast Claw.
Right. So Beast Claw, then it's probably low A because they can just kill a lot of armies just off of charging.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, for sure.
I hate that. That's their identity, but
yeah,
whatever is what it is. Fire Slayers, I would have called them like an S tier contender until they just got nerfed tremendously in this Battlescroll, and I just
this one, oh my god, dude. I just played them recently. They got wrecked.
Yeah,
they got wrecked. That critical mass of Hearthguard Berserkers is gone.
Yes.
So now you can't do 40 and 2 Grim Rats, which was like your key damage potential. It's nerfed to the ground. You gained like 150 points.
When you killed 2 of them before, you still had 2 left that you had to deal with. And those 2 could run over your army. The problem now is like you kill 2 and there's only 1 left. And that 1 is not enough to kill your whole army.
Not just that, the Grimwrath was such an interesting unit in that army because it has a 4-up ward if it stands next to a hero and Hearthguard Berserkers. And you have to now contend with, if I don't kill this Grimwrath Berserker past this 4-up ward, I will get hit with 10 attacks and -2 rend 2 damage.
You have to overcommit resources into it, yeah.
Yeah, and they raised points by 20 on him. So it's like the list went up by like 160, 180 points. No, that old list is gone.
It's crazy how much they got nerfed. Like I was about to say like they're S tier, so maybe they deserve it, but like the stats don't bear that out. That's like a Paul opinion, you know? Like I think Skaven's really good, way better than their stats show, and I think Fire Slayers were the same way.
It's probably the best example of internal balancing that I've seen. Like, it was such a spammy army in that it only played Grimwrath Berserkers and spam Broadaxes that, like, this was inevitable. If they're going to do spreadsheet balancing, this is, like, the ultimate example of, like, what needs to be spreadsheet balanced.
Well, they're just going to pivot into Volkite spam now, right? The double weapon Volkites?
No, Flameseeker. The Warcry Warband. It's straight up better than the Volkite.
Even though there's a 30-point difference?
Yeah, the attacks are just way better.
Really?
Once you get that whole
Volkites on 2s.
Once you get the whole. Yeah, but these guys also have like that companion weapon thing where they subtract attacks from monsters potentially, and you can run lots of min squads of them. I think they also have a better save than Volkites. I could be wrong.
Okay. But where do we think they land now? Low A?
No, B.
I mean, they can still pull it off, but it's
like B. I think like a solid B, like an 86%.
Yeah, they had one A tier build and that got nerfed. So yeah, B.
Okay. Slanesh. I think Slanesh is still A tier, even though Blitzbarb Seeker's got 10-point nerf.
Yeah, that 10-point doesn't do anything. I think it's like it's an A. Yeah, it's still an A tier army. They're still playing Paladors without armor.
Yeah. They're just cheaper. Cheaper Stormcast is what they're doing.
Yep.
Like discount Stormcast. Like can we have Stormcast? No, we have
discount
Stormcast.
Vanguard Chamber. Yeah, can I play the Vanguard Chamber? No, we have the Vanguard Chamber. No, that's it.
But like they got so cheap like they were such a bad army, and like looking at the War Scrolls, yeah, it makes sense they're a bad army. But they become so cheap that they manage to have redundancy in everything they do. Oh, you killed 2 of my shooting units? Good thing I have 3 left. You know, like it doesn't even matter.
It's like, oh, you can negate my crit 2. Guess what? Even my shooting and all my companions have crit 2. It's like, it's redundancy built in on everything.
I actually kind of like that design. It's like super glass hammer army, but you have a lot of it. It's not elite anymore, and it actually feels good to play and to play against. Okay, Daughters of Cain. What? I haven't seen Daughters of Cain in months. What are they doing? Does the army do anything?
I know they're very techy, but I think they still play the same. I think it's like a. The problem is you got somebody like Gavin, right? That plays Doc. Like he's gonna go 5-0.
Yeah.
But if you're not Gavin, you're probably going like 2-3.
So I think Vince mentioned this on Warhammer Weekly. He mentioned something very interesting. He's like, Doc has a very fundamental problem that it is a glass cannon army with upper health limits that cannot compete with the health limits of a faction like Slaves of Darkness. Slaves of Darkness can build a 30 health block at 3-up save. So think of what effectively that means for their health. Doc can, at the best, at their absolute best, bring 20 health max into any unit. And I think that's hurting them.
They're also not fast enough to leverage their damage. They're so slow.
Exactly. So they have a problem where they can only build 2 lists. Either it's 30 Blood Sisters, because Bloodstalkers are actually ass, I think. They're actually bad. Like 3s and 4s, -1 damage is not a good shooting profile. Or they pivot into what Stuart Iron Gutsman is running, which is like 60 Witch Elves with bladed bucklers, and he's trying to basically turn his anvils into hammers by like, if they die, they do 5-up bounce mortal wounds back to you. I roll 2 dice if I get the enhanced prayer. So like little techie stuff like that. It's super techie to play.
Well, he's
a
teams player, right? So you face any shooting army, that's completely worthless.
Yeah, true.
So I think C tier is fair for Daughters.
Mm-hmm. And Marathi is just bad. Like in an age of covering fire, Marathi is bad.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, it is good for everyone.
Bro, just redesign the War Scroll. Like, let's get rid of the Iron Heart of Cain and make it something else. Like that whole thing of like 3 wounds a turn is seriously holding her back at this point.
I would literally rather her just be 20 wounds and a 3+ save.
Yeah, exactly,
I want to see a number. I don't want to see infinity next to somebody's health.
Yeah. Like Lord, like please write the Games Workshop and just make her a 21 monster. Like I don't care.
Soul Blight. Their book's about to radically change everything. We shouldn't really say anything about them, right?
I mean, I guess based off leaks, it feels like a C. I think they're just gonna pay for their edition sins. I think they're just cursed to do so.
Can we talk about the book?
I think,
or is that not okay?
I think they can be a B tier. I think what you will see, and I don't know this because points aren't out. If Barrow Knights are cheap enough because they want to push that War Scroll or push sales of those things, I think like Barrow Knights are with the 5 award are seriously very annoying. They are so okay. You know how Robert was talking about how like this army is like all chaff and no hammers, and that's like a big problem for it. Barrow Knights on the charge can do decent damage, but after they've charged and done their damage, they become a really annoying anvil. Mm-hmm. We talk about a 4-up save, 5-up ward, 30 wound block, right? That has a model return to it every turn. On your turn, it'll be 2 because you can combine that with Deathly Invocations. Right? So it's going to be just annoying. I think Season of War just did a battle report with Khorne versus Barrow Knights, and you should see how hard it was to kill a unit of 10 Barrow Knights for that army.
Yeah, it's not. It's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
I also just want to point out how hilarious it is that Van Hill's Dance Macabre is now a command point ability that has to roll a 3+ to do anything. So you spend a command point, and then you get a chance. You have a chance to use your ability after spending a command point.
I expect that to be FAQ like week 1.
Oh my god, it's peak games work. This is how did Halo describe it? Like they want the game played by people who just throw dice at each other and you count how many 4-ups one player rolled.
Yeah,
you know, like that's. I think that's who wrote this book. God damn. Okay, I'm gonna put it down in Legends soon. Basically, like the book's being rewritten. We don't know right now.
I will say, Castellite I think is like sneakily B tier at least because it has access to the one thing it has always been lacking: 3d6 charge, a delivery systems for Blood Knights and their units, and they have that now. They basically got demonic speed.
Yeah, but that's the AOR, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, Castellite is no longer a sub-faction. It is an AOR now.
It'll be interesting. Right now, before the new book, where would you guys rank them? I think they're like a C or D tier army. They're really bad.
They're a C. They're a C tier. I don't think they're D. I think they're C.
Okay.
I think they're better than Cruel Boys. I'll put it that way.
Okay, Caradron. I think Caradron's the stats are starting to show it. It's not a terrible army. It's like a
No, it's mid.
like
B.
It's a B tier army.
yeah.
Like,
Maybe
especially since more and more players are learning how to properly do their like redeploy and their movement tricks. Like
Mhm.
it's a B tier army. I think that was the issue. Was like you have to like really know how to do that like perfectly essentially to make that army function. But after enough practice, you're gonna pretty much know how to
you
make it
can also
perfectly.
teleport with power through, right? Like if you power through the boat, that's a move ability, I think, and then you can like pull the unit out of combat and then
Power
rally.
through is a retreat, which is a move. Yeah, sure.
I think it has the move keyword. I think that should work. But yeah, it's taken time. People are figuring it out. It's better than it seemed at first. It does keep getting buffed though, so there's that too. Sylvaneth, I have no idea how the hell Sylvaneth wins games. It just doesn't look very good to me.
Big thing. It's just big thing on bugs. Go forward.
But
That's
like,
how they win games.
Beltanos giving table wide 3 things to run and charge, whatever. That's good.
yeah, but they're like 5-inch move things, so like, who cares?
No,
I mean,
like
you
you do a
stick that on high
Lateral,
enough health blocks.
Deathlos,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like that other like the what's the other one that moves fast? It's like the tree vine, whatever.
Bugs.
Yeah,
Spike
but
Rider Lancers.
yeah, so you give all that run and charge. It charges you. It hopes to win the double, and then if anything dies, Alario's gonna bring it back on a 4+.
Does the obscuring change work on the woods now too? Because they're obscuring, right? They have that ability, so now we can shoot in combat against Sylvaneth.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's actually a liability for them because it means like you, like obviously like before, you can always just charge the woods and then kill whatever's inside.
Unfortunately, the trees speak elf, but now we could know where the talk is coming from.
Yeah, I don't think they're like a B minus C plus kind of army. Even though the stats are looking good for them, they're hovering around a 50% win rate, but it feels like a fake win rate. You know, it feels like every Sylvaneth player is fighting over whether they go 2-3 or 3-2, and so they just hover
They're not
around
doing
that.
anything interesting.
Yeah,
They're not doing anything interesting. They're playing the army in a very similar way to like any like, oh, this army would literally like if Slanesh didn't have run and shoot or run and charge, how would they live? The answer is they wouldn't, and that's how Sylvaneth is living off of Beltanos right now.
yeah. It's not even that good. Like he's not that he's worse than Ionis, right? Like he's not that tanky.
He's alright. He's not.
He's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm leaving him in C. Sons of Bahamut B tier. Like they're not bad.
Yeah, they're definitely
King
B
Broadstomp
tier
is
now.
legit good.
They're fun. They're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing else to say, right?
They're just Beast helped a lot.
Yeah.
They fight. They fight good now.
They fight good and they have 18-inch D6 mortal wound shooting.
Yeah.
So.
But you still just die or get tied down in bad combats with manifestations.
Yep.
Oh, I can't dispel. I guess I can't move because there's 3 manifestations blocking my movement.
Yeah.
And I can't charge. Okay. Cruel Boys are not good. Obviously. How are Ironjaws doing? Ironjaws are like a C or B minus?
I feel like they're B minus
because Kragnos? With Kragnos or without Kragnos?
With Kragnos.
Yeah, with
Kragnos, I think at least B.
I agree. Yeah, they can be pretty good.
Kragnos is like crack for them. Like
yeah,
it's Kragnos.
I mean, even without Kragnos, you could just put 80 Ardent Boys on the field and tell your opponent with Field Sergeant, tell your opponent, please come shoot through this.
True.
I've seen
it's
a
one
lot
of the best
more
handles
big
in the game.
Pigs. I've seen some big pigs as well, and I also played against a cruel boys with Kragnos, and then that big pig, AOR or whatever.
Yeah.
That was interesting. That was a cool list. Because Kragnos gets the cruel boys sort of keyword, so he can do the 2-up fight last thing. Like there's a lot that it unlocks, and then bringing some pigs into cruel boys actually gives like helps. It was an interesting list.
Like Tom from Warhammer Weekly has been playing cruel boys with Kragnos, and it's tough to say because it's like half the list. Kragnos is like half their list, so it's not even like a truly cruel boys list. But
but you get the sneaky tricks, right?
Yeah, but you get the sneaky tricks, and that alone is good enough. 3d6 charges and sneaky tricks are good enough to lift you into B tier at least.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So I think we can call Orcs a B tier army. Low B. I think they are the lowest B tier army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nurgle. We said
A.
Nurgle was going to be too weak, but I agree. I think Nurgle is A. But Mergonk and Corb,
Low
what do you guys
A.
think? Low A?
Low A. Yeah.
Okay.
They got
Not
a
the
bunch of
lowest
buffs,
A, but
right?
yeah. 30 Blight
got a
Kings is. I don't know if y'all fought 30 Blight Kings. It's
I have many, like
Yeah.
quite a few times actually, because my friend
Yeah.
plays it.
annoying as hell, bro. It's like
Yeah.
what
If
is
you
it?
don't have the
90 wounds?
Relictor, it's really hard.
Yeah, I know it's over. It's game over. Yeah.
Like you need the Relictor, and then you can do it pretty easily. But
I love the Knight Relictor. He's so close to being
Yeah.
S tier for me now. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's really good.
But that will annoy the crap out of it. Basically, the Nurgle is playing the Soulblight Greylords game, and it's doing it way better than Soulblight Greylords.
Here's my issue with Maggotkin of Nurgle. Stormcast do it better with questers. We just spam questers and we do it better. We have better casting, better
I don't
chanting,
know, man.
better bodies, teleports, reserves, or revive. I think we can.
Nurgle?
I think we can just do it the same way but better.
I don't know. They have a lot of that disease thing. Really starts adding up, dude. It's like
really
you
good.
can keep doing D3 plus 1 mortal wound really, really fast to people, and it's like that over the course of end of any turn, over the course of like 2 battle rounds, means like most things on the field will be taking D3 plus 1 mortal wounds twice.
Yeah,
so
but
2 plus 2 D3.
What if you didn't have to do that and you just did double damage because you have questers instead of Blight Kings?
The thing is, the disease is doing damage to things you are not even in combat with sometimes because of the way they spread it.
So
so you could be affecting shooting, basically.
Let me tell you about shooting. It's so good. It's the newest thing.
Sure, but it's also getting to heroes, right? Typically that have Guardian Hero, their shooters won't bother shooting them, but like this is getting to your heroes.
Okay.
And their manifestations have it. They cast a manifestation, that thing has the disease keyword. Or like is giving you disease or whatever.
Yeah, I like Nurgle, they're good.
I don't personally find them that threatening to put them in A tier, but that's because I'm a Stormcast player. If I was any other army, I would view them as more threatening.
It also depends on the battle plan. There are some battle plans where like you just do not want to come up against them. Because if there's not a lot of objectives, it's just going to be a real annoying time to score primaries.
I think Lumineth would do well into them as well. Like if I was playing Lumineth, I really wouldn't be that worried about Nurgle. That's about it. Everybody else is probably going to struggle into them. I guess Caradron just flies away. Like I don't know how Nurgle engages them. Do they have Forbidden Power? Everybody can cast Forbidden Power, right? So yeah, I guess that's how Maggot can beat KO.
The thing is, like, you don't just have 30 Blight Kings to deal with. I think I saw the list. It's like a Rotbringer Sorcerer Lord that casts the disease manifestations, and then you have Bloab, Rotspawn, and like Orgot Demon Spoon or whatever they're called, and they're also great units to have, by the way, in your army.
Okay. That looks about right. Is there anything we'd want to move up or down in the tier list? Balance is really good. Like I'm surprised.
I'll just say BOC A tier. I'll say BOC S. Actually, no, BOC S tier still.
I agree, but who cares? They're going to Legends. Just wait 7 weeks. That's the counter to them.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I guess I should ask, after the Legends rotation, do we think Stormcast is still A tier? I think so. Vanguard Paladins and Long Strikes are great.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We have a solid base, and then we can innovate on top of it. Plus, we will see probably more points changes by the time that rolls around, like the GHB rolls around.
Hope so. Yeah. And we're diverse enough in our roster is so deep, and we do so many different things. No matter how they change up the battle tactics this summer, I think we're going to be okay with it. I could see some armies really struggling if they have like kill focus target like battle tactics that might really struggle for like Caradron, right? Or if they have like position focused battle tactics that might really struggle for slower armies like Khorne maybe could struggle with that. But Stormcast, just no matter what, we adapt, like what you said, David. So yeah, the game looks reasonably balanced. Flesh Eaters are too strong. A couple armies are too weak, but otherwise everything is good. This is really well done. Took them almost a year to get to this point. They took big swings. Some of them paid off, some of them didn't. And they reacted reasonably quickly enough, right? Like, remember the beginning of this edition? We had Lumineth, Nighthaunt in the S tier, like way higher than anybody else, along with the Gits. And that, look where they are now, you know? It's been a fun edition so far. Could be funner, but we'll see what the GHB brings. Okay, closing thoughts. Battlescroll, good, bad? Did it do enough?
I think this Battlescrolls continue to exceed my expectations. Actually, like they're doing quite a bit, but not like, at least to us, it hasn't been horrible. Like nothing crazy, but they're doing a lot of changes. I like it. I like the amount of points they're willing to reduce things by. I like the amount of changes that they're doing. It's obvious that they really want this thing to be a living game. So
Also, I like their nerfs. Like, I know Fire Slayers
yeah,
look like unreasonably hit hard, but like none of their nerfs are like. I mean, they used to be super vindictive when like with their nerfs. Like Vanguard have been a problem for 3 Battlescrolls straight, and they still like only like lightly touched Slays to Darkness. They didn't like just go ham like plus 40. This unit's dead, gone. Don't bring it. And old Games Workshop would definitely do that. Like the fact that they even thought of they thought of like not nerfing points on Paladors and just nerfing the Vanguard Chamber ability knows they have like a very reasoned and like reasonable approach to these things. Like even if I don't agree with Vigil or nerf, like and that's always heartening to see that, oh wow, these models that I just enjoyed are not going to just suddenly be useless.
Yeah, exactly.
On the flip side of the coin, they've been very big on buffs. Like we're seeing minus 50 on some units sometimes, and not even like Sequitors went from 170 to 120. That might be the biggest buff I've ever seen in the history of this game. It's insane how much. But like big swings on centerpiece models. Like what did Eridan start the edition off? 340, and now she's down to 290, and now she's a war. Now she can bring anything. Like they are taking huge swings at making models viable, and I think this Battlescroll in particular, they could have phoned it in. New GHB is coming in 3 months. There's a Legends rotation happening in 2 months. Like this is, like we're in garbage time here, right? Like it doesn't really matter what happens in terms of competitive play because everything's going to change in a few months, and who cares, right? So they could have just phoned it in, but they really did a good job. This is a good Battlescroll.
The fact that they gave Erden an exemplar, I feel like we've complained about that so much, and then like they finally gave it to us. It's like,
why does Tornus get an exemplar? I don't get that.
He's a special guy. He has his own. He leads his own mini chamber called the Redeem. So I guess it makes sense for him to have a lieutenant.
Yeah, but why is he Ruination? Like I get his original lore, and that's cool, but why is he Ruination Chamber?
Oh, because he survived being ruined, and he's been reforged a bunch of times because Knight Azros fight on the front lines a lot. That's what happens.
I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I'm surprised Gardas isn't Ruination yet. Gardas gets killed so much because he just like solo charges like a great unclean one and gets clobbered like so many times.
He has really he dies against really big things, but he'll live for like, I think in the Broken Realms he fought against a Nurgle invasion for like a week straight or something. Like he dies, but they're always like big deaths, right? Like King Broad comes over and steps on him. That happens like once a couple hundred years. He's not dying that much. He's usually defending stuff. Like he's a Stormkeep kind of character, you know?
Well, he's dying quite like in one of the mini stories. He like dies a lot. Like he'll die in like an extraction mission. Like he
really. Huh.
That's what's given him. That's why he's like a hallowed knight. It's like he has like an almost saintly glow to him. That's what his followers have started noticing as he gets reforged more and more. He almost has like a glowy aura to him.
Lord Commander Gardas riding a Star Drake. It's gonna happen.
Waiting for it.
Yeah.
Might be waiting a few editions. Okay, we're just rambling now, so I think that's a good time to end it. We did it a little under 3 hours. We did it. We made it. Okay. Okay. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsor, Mindtaker Minis, out on the West Coast. Check them out if you are interested in picking up some used stuff. They're our new sponsor, and they are giving us prizes for the painting contest. What else can I mention? There's a new painting contest, Painting Terrain. So check out the Discord server and put your Stormreach portal or any piece of terrain. Really, we're looking for cool, creative stuff. Put that in there. Like, share, subscribe. What else would Jack say if he was here? I don't do this part of it very well.
All those things.
All those things. Do the things. Yeah.
Yeah. Patreon?
Yes, we have a Patreon. If you want some buyer's remorse, we can give you very good buyer's remorse. The best. You know, nobody has buyer's remorse like we do. Check out patreon.com/thestormkeep if you like what we do. Toss us some money. We can buy some coffee or more of these shirts. These are fun to make. I think I still got to make yours, John. I'll give it to you this weekend.
Nice.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Thanks everybody for coming, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
See y'all, everybody.
Thanks.
See you guys.
Yeah. All right.
Pretty
I'll
good.
see y'all.
Yeah. Are you okay, man?